What is up? I can't not do Anthony on that part. Sorry, we're missing Anthony today. He's had some scheduling conflicts, but Cali Death Podcast, it's episode 222. We got Psycroptic in the house. We got Joe Haley, and we got Todd Stern, all the way from the down under. So they're actually it's 7 p.m. here, and it's midday. I was like
midday,
trying to get them down. So we're super stoked to have you guys. Obviously, one of our favorite bands for so many years. I guess I'll just start out. How you guys doing?
We just finished tour. Yeah.
They just finished tour?
We just finished an Aussie tour. Yeah, we did 8 shows, 5 in mainland and 3 in Tassie. Just finished up on the 15th.
Nice. How were the turnouts?
Yeah,
they were all pretty killer.
Oh, really?
Like
nice.
Yeah, we're all pretty killer. I think they were as good as can be.
Is every Aussie show like a home? I mean, because you guys are based in Tasmania. Is it still considered like, because it's a big continent, so it's not like a tiny little place? Is it considered like a home show, every Aussie show?
Yeah, pretty much. I would say that, like, obviously the Hobart shows are kind of that's where we grew up, so that's our kind of home shows. But kind of Melbourne's kind of like a home turf as well, because we do a lot of shows over there, because we're all kind of spread out. Like, usually if we're gonna tour, like if we're gonna kind of tour, kind of our home, do the home crowd sort of thing, a lot of our gigs are going to be on the mainland anyway. Okay. So yeah, Melbourne's kind of become like our second home, I guess.
You guys play many shows in Tasmania?
Yeah, we did. I mean, we did more than what we would usually do on this run. We did like 3. So we did. We usually try to get Hobart in the mix, just because that's where we're from. But this time we did Launceston, but we also did Devonport, which I've never even been there.
Nice.
I've kind of driven through there, but we did our first show there, and it was killer. Like, it's a small place, like a small kind of town, but it was like, what was it, like 180 people or something? For the
it was like a little upstairs bar. It was a pub. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was killer. People
packed.
Literally hanging from the roof.
100%. Yeah, it was wild. It was Peppo's birthday. We made a little party out of it, and everyone had a blast.
That's awesome. Do you guys have any other tours coming up?
Well, we have a U.S. one in the fall that isn't announced yet, but the next thing we're doing is we're going to Europe to do a couple festivals at the end of July. So it's like classic weaving in and out of the festivals with little club shows connecting in between as you go type of setup.
Definitely. Very cool.
Yeah. It'll be...
we'll do it backwards today. So if people want to go get Psycroptic merch and grab any discs or whatever, where can people go for that?
I send everyone to either Bandcamp or Spotify just to check out the new shit we've got going on. I don't know. For me, I feel like if the band is if people what we're up to, that's as important as anything. We sell merch on in the US, we sell merch on the Night Shift store. In Australia, we sell merch on the Direct Merch store. But mostly I'm trying to point people in the direction of where to actually find the songs,
Definitely. Are you giving any lessons, Joe or Todd?
I never have, ever.
Yeah, I kind of just here and there. That used to become my main kind of day job, was just teaching and stuff. But just over the years, I guess, tours come up, it kind of gets in the way of it. And I just kind of do lessons here and there. But it's kind of can be a bit of a hassle, and I think it just annoys the students more than
do you ever do them on the road? Do you ever do those like where people go like, hey, meet me on the road and I'll teach you or something?
Yeah, I dabbled a little bit, but kind of I guess not really my style, I guess. yeah,
it's kind of a impromptu, kind of a weird, awkward meetup, kind of just like, what up?
Yeah. Sometimes it's cool, but a lot of the times it's you're trying to, you don't know what the situation's going to be on the road, so sometimes it can just be a lot more hassle than it's worth.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Funny thing about it's kind of like, it's like, how do I play like you? But it's like, it really is just, how do I think like you? Like, how make my brain, like, how do I be creative like you? Because it's like, I mean, you got the chops. That's one thing, but it's like that's only one element of the whole thing, dude. It's like,
I always get those. I get those weird questions of like, I don't know, I just want to learn how to play fast. How do I play fast? But it's like
I don't know.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Like I've never worked on the speed myself. You start off slow and you build it up. That's kind of as far as the lesson sort of goes. And I think
listening to you guys, I was listening to you guys today. Just obviously, I listened to you guys for years and years. But the first thing I was thinking of with your picking and stuff, I was like, did you grow up listening to like Fear Factory when you're like the locking and the double kicks with the picking and stuff? That was like the first random thought I had today.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think so. I don't think they were particularly. I mean, I obviously heard them, but I don't think they were particularly an influence. I think I just kind of stemmed from all the thrash stuff, Just all
like locking up the kicks and stuff.
Got to get Joe.
Yeah, just your Metallicas and your Megadeths, just all the down picking and stuff, That,
yeah, definitely.
I mean, I'm still playing thrash riffs now. It's just Dave Blast beats over it, So.
I mean, it's actually speaking of thrash, I got to see, that was really cool to see Gary Holt shout you out and just go like, this fucking guy's insane, dude. And I was like, fuck yeah, because Gary used to live like in the same little area as him, so I'd see him at the grocery store and shit, and super fucking awesome dude. Yeah, but I remember
we didn't even know he was there. We just saw his post. We were like, oh shit, that's
yeah. He hangs out at random shows in Sacramento. I mean, he would go to when he was living there. I don't know if he still is, but he would just be backstage, just like fucking Gary, like go to LA, Kerry King's back. You're like, oh, it's Kerry King. Shit. Okay. Well, fuck.
Yeah, just like low key,
Yeah. Just like a bunch of chains and like 9 dogs. No, not like that. But but no, that's that was just like fucking to me it was cool because like a thrash like kind of legend or someone that quote unquote a popular guitar player was shouting out what we've known for so long and just going like just actually going like, hey, give this guy some fucking credit, look at him, blah blah. And I'm like, with the amount of like pull or whatever Instagram followers and stuff, to have him throw you out there was fucking awesome. I was super stoked.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely meant a lot. It was awesome to see, So,
did you grow up listening to like Exodus and stuff like that?
Not. I've probably kind of came across Exodus later, like a lot later in the piece. So yeah, not particularly. I kind of just coming back to the thrash things. It was more just like the big stuff, I was pretty much just aware of just the really popular stuff. So yeah, that was I came to that sort of thing a little bit later, I think.
Well, definitely. I'd like to say, dude, first of all, I'm super stoked tonight to have you guys here.
Like, fuck yeah.
Love you guys, dude.
Cheers.
Joe, we've toured and dude, fucking Todd, awesome to have you here. And I saw you guys play up in LA a while back. What was that show? I can't remember, but it was, and Todd, you guys were all playing. It was super sick. Took a picture with Dave that
1720 it must have been.
Yeah, it was like in Irvine or something.
I think that's what we played the last couple of times. Is that 1720?
Yeah. 1720 is in East LA. I don't know if that's what you're thinking of. Irvine. I don't know. Santa Ana, maybe?
Santa Ana. It was like some kind of Orange County-ish. It wasn't LA. It was like south.
Is Observatory in Orange County? Yeah, right?
I think Fallujah played that night.
Oh, Fallujah would have been.
It wasn't Observatory. Yeah, it wasn't that place.
No, that was in Santa Ana. It was at a place called Stages. That was the last night of the tour.
Oh. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Fallujah. It was Fallujah.
Remembering
cognitive.
Yeah. That was it.
Is that the one where they had all the lowriders? They had all the lowriders out the.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, it was like that weird Mexican street festival hanging like right outside the venue.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that one sticks out to me. That was also the one where Paul McGuire got caught drinking at the bar while he was supposed to be doing our lights in the middle of our set.
Oh god.
Yeah, what else?
Got called out over the mic.
Yeah. Pat called him out on the microphone.
That's funny. I randomly saw that tour. I saw that tour in Houston, and I'm just randomly there. Just like I'm from California, just in Houston. That it was Fallujah, Psycroptic, and Cognitive. Yeah, I remember Cognitive.
It was at
I don't know the venue.
Houston?
You guys were just playing, so I was like, Psycroptic's playing, I'm going. And then
you were in Texas, Joel?
Yeah, randomly.
Wait, no, I know where it was. It was at this place. It was at one of those joints that like the bar's already open when you get there to load in the middle of the day, and everyone's smoking cigarettes and hanging out. It's like it was like our Arcadia or something like that.
Something, yeah.
Joe Haley, you remember what I'm talking about? That was the night that Amanda Sermon's mom came to the show and sold us cocaine.
Is this LA or?
No, I jumped to Houston randomly because I randomly saw that tour in Houston.
It was the most fucked up occurrence that you could think of. Am I allowed to say that?
We'll find out. we don't make any money off this thing.
We'll let you know later.
Yeah.
Just on the replay, it's all.
That's another really standout show. I can't believe you brought up those two shows. That one really sticks out. Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, it was at a place I'd never been to before or since. It was a really hot day that day, and something else happened that night. Oh, it was Joe, you wouldn't have been there for this, but we got into this funny conversation with the bartender, and we turned it into one. The whole bar was in a bet versus the bartender, and we all won money and shots versus them, and we were like heroes. It was awesome.
I remember seeing randomly
that
dude Miles was there. Who plays in Miles, who plays in he plays in like Ice Nine Kills that opens for
Miles. Miles Dimitri Baker. Lovely.
Yeah. He was randomly there. I was like, oh, what up, dude? And he was like, so
no, he wasn't randomly there. He was playing in Interloper. That's his band.
Oh, Interloper played that? That came later. Shit.
Interloper played right between Cognitive and Fallujah. So Fallujah and Psycroptic would have been rotating each night on that tour.
I've seen Interloper too. Yeah, I saw Interloper play
band in between. You're right.
Yeah, they played with
it would have been Cognitive, Interloper
Count.
In that order every night.
It was at NAMM. They played with Body Count, like at a hidden show. Interloper did, and they hadn't. I don't think they had a singer back then. It was just all, and it was just like fucking right. And then it was just fucking Ice-T going like fucking talk shit, get shot or something. I don't even like watching Ice-T. They did a Slayer cover, and it was actually a very rowdy pit. But yeah, that was. Have you guys ever done the NAMM thing?
I've done it once.
Okay. How about you, Joe?
I've never done it. I don't think it's ever kind of worked out. I've been because I play Ormsby guitars, and they've asked me to jump in on it a few times. But
that's where I first found out about Ormsby was at NAMM.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's been doing it for a while now, but it's just never really worked out either with out touring or just finished the tour, and obviously expensive for me to get over.
Yeah,
absolutely.
How much?
I've just missed it so many times.
How much? Like, if they wanted just to fly you out just to do something, it would be what, like American dollars? What, like $3,000 probably?
Just did back and forth to Australia for $2,000 US, but
okay.
I think that's pretty cheap. That's kind of on the cheaper side. Yeah,
fly out on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Cheaper on Sundays, dude. That's good.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
That's super cool. That's super rad. Yeah, dude. Obviously, and God, I remember seeing you guys throwing it back. I mean, obviously after we toured, I think, or maybe before. But were the singer of Unmerciful was your singer for a tour, right? What was that guy's name? He could.
I'll say that again. Dropped out there.
The singer from Unmerciful, didn't he do like I remember he was like he did a Summer Slaughter with you guys. This is going back, by the way. This is like back when Black Diamond was headlining.
If it was Summer Slaughter, it would have been 2008. That was way before my time.
Yeah. Fuck.
So wait, Joe, who else sang before Zdenek? I forget.
Well, I think it was a fill-in for a tour.
Right.
Yeah. So we had Tony. I think we had the singer for Unmerciful. Yeah.
Yeah.
For one run, I think.
Yeah. That guy was bananas. We did the European tour with that guy.
Nice.
Anyway, he was a fucking gnarly dude. Fuck yeah. That's awesome, dude.
That's going back.
Yeah, that was
15 years or more. Yeah.
I think that might have been before we actually
years.
toured with you guys. Yeah.
What was the first tour we did with Psycroptic, Joel? It was it Summer Slaughter, or was it before
Suffocation and Whitechapel?
No, it was just Suffocation and Whitechapel. That's right.
And Veil of Maya.
And it wasn't Summer Slaughter. That was the first. Yeah, that was a cool tour, dude.
Yeah, actually was pretty fun.
Suffocation and say that again.
Whitechapel.
And Whitechapel. That was like
you guys were on it as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, Decrepit Birth and Psycroptic.
And Veil of Maya.
Yeah.
Did you guys
That
play
was a
at
weird
Rock
tour
Rock in
where I
Allentown,
think,
Pennsylvania?
Yeah, we did. I remember
Oh.
doing doing the God Forbid part in Suffocation on stage with them for that part, or for that place. That's why I remember that.
No shit.
I just remember that was like a run where
who was on it?
That was like a run where I think Whitechapel was just starting to really blow up.
Yeah, they just randomly blew up out of nowhere. Yeah.
And then like I think mid-tour, I think Suffo and Whitechapel switched to Whitechapel headlining or something. It was brutal.
Yeah, I think I remember something like that. I remember because it was
those nights,
Yeah, there was basically like, because they were like the hot ticket, but no one really had heard of them, and like they just completely, I don't want to say overnight, but they had blown up like way faster than a normal band will blow up, and I had never heard of them, and all of a sudden like we're seeing like I remember the first show was in Virginia, and I don't know, I forget where it was at Jack's, and
Springfield, Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia,
exactly.
And just everyone was singing their fucking lyrics. I was like, what the fuck? I didn't even know the band was. And I was like, who is this band? And yeah, it was turning into a thing where, like half the place would leave after they would play, and then Suffolk would play for like a half to a quarter of the crowd. And so it was it was kind of an awkward situation because it was just a popular, all the young kids were into the Whitechapel thing, and all the old school metalheads and stuff were into Suffocation, and it was a little interesting, but
I mean, it's really.
I think it even happened.
Time, huh?
Say again. Sorry.
I think that kind of there was something similar happened when they did because they opened Summer Slaughter one year, like really early on, and I can remember, people coming to see them, and they were already starting to take off there, and people coming to see them and not realizing that they're playing first, so people would come in, buy their merch, and leave.
Jesus, it's kind of like we played. I did a Summer Slaughter with Decrepit where it was Animals as Leaders was the second band, and we were like the fourth band on the Summer Slaughter. I think Decapitated was a headliner, and I was like, just heard. I mean, obviously, I heard the CDs. I got the Burn CD from them playing and stuff, and watching Animals as Leaders playing like opening like the show, like and just going like, all right. I was just telling him like every night because actually I had toured with Tosin before because he filled in on another Summer Slaughter playing in Born of Osiris. Exactly. So like I already kind of knew him. So like seeing his band play, I was just telling him backstage, I'm like, you guys are gonna fucking headline this in like a year and a half or 2 years, right? Like this is what's happening next, right? And that was. Seeing those bands that just they have to kind of do a little bit of their due, but like everyone wants to see them.
Sometimes it's not easy to tell.
Yeah,
I did a Summer Slaughter where the opening band was Slaughter to Prevail. I never would have thought I'd seen the day.
Yeah.
Damn,
and
that's crazy.
They were the first out of 10. They went on at like 2:30 in the afternoon. It was unbelievable that you see them headlining over Dying Fetus now. It's like, oh wow, that was 2016 maybe.
Mark from Veil of Maya is playing in a humongous band right now. One of the big, what's that band called? Falling in Reverse. He's the guitar player.
That's right. I did hear someone tell me that. I just forgot the band. Yeah,
massive, he's literally playing like arena. They're like an arena band. Like he's playing like there's like I'm following him on Instagram and stuff. We toured with him like 7 times, and like just seeing him play with like these like fucking torches going everywhere now. I'm like, gee, like.
Well, I guess the spectrum is pretty grand, huh? Like, listen, we were just talking about Miles. Fucking, he was opening for us in 2022.
Crazy. Yeah,
that's wild.
Now he's opening for Metallica.
For James Hetfield. Yeah,
I know. That's watching his stories. I'm just like, just like doing a sound check on the Metallica stage. I'm just like, what a trip
with James's guitar.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake,
crazy.
Like,
when's the band gonna come
that's
around?
The real deal, man.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Super cool.
It's cool to see. Yeah, it's cool to see people. Like some people just stop touring, and I mean, I'm one of those people.
Listen, dude, the way I see it, anyone who's got the chops that actually takes the opportunity to be in the right place at the right time, that's so sick. To where you see it happen in real life.
Yep. Just like get your if you're having fun playing, and it's like probably a lot easier music than you're used to playing. I remember Mark playing the Veil of Maya stuff where he would like use a looper pedal and play over himself backwards. Like that to me, that's 10 times harder than what he's doing now. And he just gets to rock out on stage now. It's like, you know, get it, have fun. That's awesome. I love to see that. I would love to see actually Joe. It'd be funny, like Joe Haley in some randomly popular band. Would your style would still be your style though? I think. I don't know if you could like play off, like, because you have like a distinctive. Yeah. What's that?
You gotta see his cover band.
Oh, I'd love to see montage. Are there recordings?
Live ones, maybe.
I want to see Joe Haley do like Motley Crue.
80s kind of popping rock sort of stuff that we do. Yeah.
Oh,
that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Just like perfectly like nailed in, like fucking picking to like 80s
stuff.
Very,
very much not. It's kind of weird how like it's actually, I wasn't really sure when, because I played drums in it for a long time, like for
that's right
in 10 or so years, just, and to me that was like, oh, that's just the way that I get to play drums and practice drums, you know, playing in a cover band. It was like cool. But the guitarist that we had, he left and he moved away, and we didn't really have anyone else to play guitar, so I was like, oh shit, I guess I'll jump on guitar. But I assumed that I would sort of hate it, you know, just playing, you know, covers. I was thinking, I don't know about this. But I'm actually I've been doing it for a couple of years now. I'm kind of enjoying it because it's kind of, in some ways, it's because I am forced to play other people's stuff and other people's styles. I actually find it way harder than Psycroptic stuff. Just playing 80 songs. It's like that's not my style. So it's like it's actually a cool way to sort of practice other stuff, you know.
Yeah, that is cool. Now you see what other people deal with when they're like, "Hey Joe, teach me how to play like you, dude."
No, nobody has your style.
I know. Like, God damn it.
It's a curse.
It's a curse. Shit. Well, I guess we should probably do the whole format of the show. Usually Anthony takes over right here, but since we're talking about it, Joe, we kind of, if you've seen it or not, we just kind of want to start from the very beginning with you. You said, talking about drums and stuff too. Like, what was the first time you remember just even listening to music, being into it, having it like kind of click with you and to be something that you were kind of interested in, and then we'll move on from there.
Well, yeah, God, it's hard to even sort of think because it's just always been kicking around. But I think the way I first started getting into playing was like, Dave picked up the drums first, so he was kind of doing a bit of that, and I think just straight away he was like, I'm learning drums, so you should learn guitar so we can start jamming together. That's kind of how I started getting into playing guitar. But I think I was maybe a little bit interested in it before, because I can remember my first cassette that I ever had, first tape was Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Nice.
That had the famous Beat It solo on there and shit. And,
totally, dude.
I was just like, yeah, that's crazy. So,
yeah.
I think that's where my first interest in guitar came from. But yeah, actually getting into playing it was kind of, more so Dave kind of, giving me that nudge because he's learning an instrument as well,
Yeah, Dave was talking about when he was on that you guys had like a local record store or something, right? Like there was like one spot that actually got some pretty decent stuff. Like after getting into Thriller and all that stuff, did you find anything else on your own that you were into? Like what was going on after that?
I don't know. I guess my sort of background is probably I kind of grew up more in the grungy sort of stuff, so I kind of got into that. And I think we were both sort of playing that sort of stuff. I think Dave was just head first into metal. Day one, just like brutal stuff, blast beats, whatever. Yeah. But I think we were both kind of jamming out on like, I guess as we were finding our feet playing and stuff,
like Alice in Chains.
Well, if you're bringing up 90s shit, did you guys like Silverchair?
Sorry?
Oh,
Silverchair. Did you guys like Frog Stomp?
I forgot about that. They're Australian.
I like Frog Stomp, but I am from New Jersey, so it's not really.
I like.
You can't say it publicly. No, I liked it too.
No, it's not that. It's just that it's for no good reason. I just thought that they were dope. I personally, I love the whole alternative movement. Did you?
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Well, I first heard so Silverchair.
I loved it.
One
I was the perfect age for MTV after school and getting the full black hole son of it every day until it was played out, which is still not played out.
No, I love it.
Yeah, same. I remember the first Stone Temple Pilots record being really important to me, all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So Silverchair just hit, but it was nothing to do with being Aussie. That's all I meant,
Yeah, I didn't even find out they were Aussie until later, and I found out they were like, children.
Same. I was already a full-grown adult when I found out they were from Australia. Yeah.
Yeah. They were.
I first heard of Silverchair when there was like a thing. We've got a radio out here.
Now I'm losing you.
There's a radio station called Triple J, and they had a thing called like a little competition called Unearthed, and I think that's how Silverchair started. They won Triple J Unearthed when they were like 14 or 15 years old, so they were just like a kid band.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they released like a tape, like a little EP or whatever, and it was basically just like at that time it was just like a Pearl Jam ripoff,
Yeah.
It wasn't too bad, but they definitely over the years they kind of grew into their own sound and
kind of better than Pearl
Jam. Definitely got a bit better. But I kind of came from, I think one of my favorite bands of all time was Soundgarden, and I still reckon
best.
Super Unknown's like one of my favorite albums of all time. So that's kind of where I was sort of coming from.
I'm a Down on the Upside guy. I don't know. I mean, I love Super Unknown, but
really?
I remember Down on the Upside was like an album back. Remember I don't know if you guys had this, but we had a scam that everyone did, which is the Columbia Music House scam, where you just sign up and they just give you like 20. Okay, yeah, you just get like 20 CDs. You're like, all right, well, I have to sign up for something.
Hey.
Oh shit.
Going on?
What up, Pep? How's it going, man?
Just signed up.
So, I don't know if these guys had Columbia House. I think we've talked about that.
Yeah, dude. That's where I got the Down on the Upside though. And then I just started just jamming that. It's like
I found so much cool shit through that.
No, totally. What up, Pep?
Because that was like that was the first version of like sending you stuff that was targeted towards your interests. Right?
Yeah, you could check off little boxes and shit.
Right. It'd be like if you were into hard rock and heavy metal and shit, they'd send you like, yo, buy this Megadeth record.
I just never sent them money, dude. I wonder how much money they lost. So as a kid,
the one I had was subscription based, I remember, but I forget what the scam was. I think they got you on the hook for like 2 cents for the first 100 CDs or something, but then you were like $5 a month for the rest of your life. Something happened. I don't know. They got you one way or the other.
Through paper
subscription.
Yeah. Just no, you don't need to fucking follow up or anything. You're just like, it's like whatever. Just check dude, I'm down to sign up. My name's, I'm a kid. Like, here's my address.
Right.
And just got so many CDs.
But why were you picking the shit that you were picking?
The radio was a big thing. Like listening to a lot of the alternative rock was my thing for sure. Growing up, that was where it started. Definitely was with, Soundgarden and Alice in Chains and Nirvana and Smashing Pumpkins and
all those bands are from the same town. It fucking blows my mind.
I know, that's fucked. I don't actually. It's funny because I remember watching a little documentary, a little quick thing on Chris Cornell, and he was talking about how like he was the drummer, and then they were like their drummer quit or something, and they're like, why don't you have a decent voice? Why don't you try singing? And he just became the
and they were like, voice turns out.
Yeah, it's like I know it's like one so a voice sick. Of a generation. Like, dude, like no one can fucking copy his voice.
It's just so iconic.
It's crazy. What up, Pep?
Peppo, you back?
Yeah, I think my internet might be a bit shit down here.
I think we're all making each other's internet suck worse.
I just fucking lost it.
How you doing, bud?
Talking over each other.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm like out in the bush, like at work, so I'm fucking my internet's all shit house.
You look fucking
love it.
You look crisp, dude. You got that bush internet, dude. Oh, you lost me. He's like,
I keep losing you.
Oh, so the upload or download speed's bad, but the upload's good. That's what's going on. He's like, just be quiet and let him freak out.
It's not syncing. Yeah. Just put him on full speed.
I can't see you.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So what are you doing for work now?
Painting houses. Oh, there we go. I can see you now.
Nice.
There he is.
Nice.
Let's see if the internet catches up. I can see Todd in his beautiful black metal t-shirt there.
Yeah, but I never thought I'd see the day where I wore a Burzum shirt, but it's the Kanye exclusive.
Oh, dude.
You're like in the fucking. You're in
know,
the
so
Burzum
what?
shirt.
Oh,
I'm in the
shit,
Check it
work.
out, dude. It's Kanye wearing a Burzum shirt on a Burzum shirt.
Oh,
Fucking,
dude.
the future is amazing.
I know. Just immediately come up with an idea. A shirt.
So sick.
That's
Oh, you're
hilarious.
gonna get there, Todd.
What? You must be kidding.
Dude, so rad. So we got almost all of Psycroptic on here, but Dave might pop on. He's a little busy, but yeah, dude, it's great to have you guys here. Man.
Dave's a family man.
Yeah.
How many kids does he have now?
Just one.
Just the one.
Okay.
Oh,
That's cool. Lot. Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, I got 3 more months, and I got my first kid coming.
Right now. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I'm about
heavy metal dads, dude.
Yeah, about to hear. I got all the people
like
going
a
like
month, and mine will be driving.
Damn.
It's wild,
right?
right?
Let's do it now, dude. Give me a tip, dude. Give me everyone gives me like the same tip, like, all right, you're not gonna sleep much, you're not gonna blah blah blah, all these things, but like, give me like a real what you were expecting versus what actually happened kind of tip.
Oh fuck knows. I didn't know what to expect. I was only like 26 when I had kids. I was only a kid myself.
All right.
Was that so your kid was like 12 or no 9 or something when we were touring then? 9 or back when we toured together?
When we toured together, my daughter would have only been like 1 or 2.
Okay. And they're driving, not drinking.
Wow.
Well, in Australia, I think you can. What's the drinking age there? 16?
18.
18.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thanks. So you were just in the thick of it when we were on tour, just getting started. Dang.
Yeah, I was out on Summer Slaughter doing our first US tour. I left a week before that tour finished. Got home just in time for my daughter to be born, and then I think it was like a month later we released Observant, and we were straight out on the road again.
Jeez, damn.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Old school.
Yeah, I don't think we were very popular with your wife.
Nah, I definitely wasn't for a lot of years. We're still together, so I must be doing something right.
You got this, babe. I'll be back.
Yeah.
That's great. So what did you? So going back and being like a dad, what was the number one thing that you thought was going to happen that didn't happen? Like, what's a piece of advice you give someone like me that's about to go through it?
Well, I don't know. I thought I might have got a bit more responsible a bit quicker.
Yeah.
That didn't really happen. That's a year. I'm still not quite there.
That's not true.
I don't know. It's sick fun though. Like I'm like at this weird place now where my kids, because they're nearly grown up, they're like, I got all this free time on my hands. I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to do with myself a lot of the time now.
Yeah. Yep. Used to be revolved around them.
Yeah. So, I mean, like the last 17 years. And then all of a sudden you're like, fuck, they don't need me like 24/7 anymore. So I've had to like
trippy.
Yeah. It's cool though. It's cool watching them grow.
Yeah,
definitely. I bet. Are they into any of the same music you're into, or you listen to Psycroptic, or what do they do? Nah.
Dude, would you listen to a lame dad's band? What?
Yeah, Dad. Psycroptic's a dad band.
I'm like,
Dad's so cool.
It's so funny though, because like I always fuck around. I'm like, I'm cool. I'm singer in a band and stuff like that, and I'm like, Dad, you're fucking lame. But then they're like Lincoln wears like Psycroptic shirts and stuff because he likes the artwork, and he gets bailed up by like old ladies in shops going, oh wow, Psycroptic's so cool, and he's like, it's just my fucking dad's band. Like, it's not that cool.
Leave free t-shirt.
Old ladies.
Yeah. Free t-shirt.
It just brings me the t-shirt time, and they got cool pictures on them.
That's fucking hilarious, dude. That's rad.
Funny, yeah.
I mean, the band's been around for what, like a quarter century? Yeah. Fuck, you got some people when they were 20, something like that. Like, now they're in their 40s.
Years.
Damn, that's crazy. That's insane, dude.
Yeah, it's 21 years now that I've been with the band, and I'm still the new singer.
Yeah.
It's like whenever you think of like Metallica and
Jason,
you know, Jason, the bass player, and then
the other Jason.
then like you're like, huh, that guy's like still the new guy, huh? It's like that was the Metallica bass player thing was 20 years ago or longer, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
well, dude, the Black Album is still new Metallica. It's just that simple.
Yeah. It's just because we forgot about everything after that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
That
Rob's been he's been the bass player longer than any other bass players. So.
He's still the youngest. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Probably by a lot. Yeah, it's funny.
Oh shit, that's fucking crazy. That's the number one thing that the parents were right about, is that like how time flies. It's like pretty ridiculous, you know, when you start getting.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, just looking at like, oh shit, the last tour I did was 13 years ago, like over a decade ago. Just going like,
well, I'm like the new guy, and I'm 10 years in the band this year.
Yeah,
I know, that's fucking crazy to me.
Yeah, so it just goes by fast. And we had the pandemic as well, so that kind of fucks up the math a little bit, but it still went by, you know.
Yeah, pandemic did fuck up the math. That is true. It feels like 2020 was like a couple years ago, and it was 5. You're like,
it's like there's a couple of years there that don't count, you know.
Yeah, that's actually what I was actually when I was randomly saw you guys in Houston. Pep, I remember we hung out in Houston. That was like randomly me, you, and Dave and stuff. And we were talking about what you guys deal with in Australia, and he told me a completely different story than what I knew. Like from what we were hearing about, like how crazy, like you guys couldn't do anything. You guys were like had curfews, like you couldn't like.
That was also Dave specifically because he was in Melbourne.
Oh, okay.
So Melbourne was brutal. But down here, like because we're on an island, we're kind of we're quarantined anyway, so we're just like usually.
They just shut the airport and the docks, and they're like, "Fuck you can do what you want because you can't get COVID in here."
That is kind of that's a leg up. Just going like, you have to get here by like a random boat that you're not supposed to be here if you make it, but like, that's crazy.
That's the thing, like people think about Tasmania as being this tiny little island because, you know, like in the scheme of the size of Australia, it's tiny, but like the reality is it's like the size of Holland.
Oh,
so
damn.
It's not like it's not like we were just stuck on this like puny little island that takes you 20 minutes to drive across. It's like 6 hours end to end. We're doing pretty well down here.
Yeah. Dave was
we were just doing the math on that on the last tour. Because Tasmania is 5 times the area in land as New Jersey, and New Jersey has 20 times the population of Tasmania.
Damn.
Yeah, we got like 500,000 people down here.
Dang. For that much land, because 6 hours is like from here to LA, Santa Cruz to LA. That's like, that's quite a distance. Yeah, that's a distance.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like to get to the outskirts of LA. You're not even close to LA on that, but LA is like fucking the biggest thing.
69,000 square kilometer.
Ridiculous. But yeah, man. So that's cool that you guys got to shut it down and not have to deal with all the shit because Dave was just unloading on me all this stuff. He was like, dude, it's fucking like you have no idea. And he's like, you know, Dave's super mellow, and he was kind of just like, kind of got a little riled up about it, you know.
Well, like they kept fucking with him. they made him, you know, you had to have a work permit to drive down the street to go to your job.
Jesus.
Well, how crazy was it? We, during the pandemic, we did 3 shows in Tasmania, and for Dave to come down, he had to like quarantine in Tasmania for like 2 weeks before he was allowed to rehearse with us. And then he did the show. I think he hung out for about another 2 or 3 days, and then he had to fly back. And then I think he had to like quarantine for 2 weeks when he got to Melbourne.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It was like a month's worth of just sitting in a fucking house, like just to do 3 shows.
Damn.
Yeah, and Luke, who we had filling in on bass, like he's from Melbourne as well, and he last minute he couldn't even get in.
That's right. So he got cancelled. So we had backing track.
Yeah, I just have to whole ass plan bass on these backing tracks and then just do it as a 3-piece, you know.
Damn, dude, the old backing track. I mean,
It works.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Kind of.
Yeah, the borders are shut. What do you do? You know.
I know it's fucking crazy, dude. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I had no idea it was like that. I mean, it was crazy here, but like nothing like that. You know what he told me. And people were like, you know, making points of how crazy Australia was, and they were making like these little kind of like side notes. And I'm like, it's a little worse than us. But then Dave's all, dude, it's fucking way worse than that. They have no idea. Yeah. And I was like, oh shit. And this is, you know, 2022, 23. I was talking to him about it, so he was kind of just on the outskirts of it. You know, just kind of. Yeah.
Well, it took us. So that would have been on the Fallujah tour when you were having that chat with Dave.
Yeah.
That would have been in like August or September of 2020, or September or October of 2022. First U.S. tour post pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the first time that he would have got out, been able to get out. Is what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah. First time in the States since, because we couldn't get back to doing shit together until 2022. But I went to Australia first to do the Desert Fest.
Mm-hmm.
And then the boys came back to the States to do Fallujah shortly thereafter. And we also did South America on that run.
Damn.
Yeah. So South America happened before the US, but it was the first like traveling, you know? So it's probably just like all bottled up.
I mean, it's cool to see bands like, I mean, like you guys and so many other bands. I mean, a lot of bands probably, you know, perished. They couldn't keep it going, you know. When like
dude, a lot of small businesses couldn't come back. You know
yeah, exactly. It's small business for sure. Yeah,
right.
It's really cool to see, like, especially because the cost of you guys getting out here, all that shit, and like, you know, so soon after like you guys are allowed to even come out here, and then you still make it out here. That's just, I'm stoked on that. That it seems like it would be the end of most bands.
It's always been my opinion that the best dudes have something going on at all times, and we're the type of band where everyone has their own empire kind of built back home, you know. So basically all little small business owners when you really break it down.
Yeah,
so everyone pretty much owns their own company and is responsible for their own fucking, I guess, livelihood between tours, and it's always been that way. And then like there's automatic survival built in if something falls through the floor, like a pandemic that you didn't expect, you know.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, it's like for me, I mean, even touring was pretty much every tour out of the 10 or 15 that I did was like, it was kind of paycheck to paycheck. Like, it better fucking work out or else like I'm done.
Scary shit, man.
Yeah, if something like that happened, then I would have it would have wiped me out, because I didn't have nothing to fall back on. I was like, all right, well, the tour or possibly be homeless. It's like, all right, well, we got to make a decision now, in our economy too. And I remember during that, it was our economy was like people. There was literally, I went to go to a guitar after I quit touring. I went to Guitar Center, and there was dudes that worked at like banks. There was and like applying for this like selling guitars job. Like it was like 20 people in a fucking group interview for a guitar selling to make minimum wage and maybe get a little bit of fucking like commission on there. And people were like, oh yeah, so in my crazy resumes and stuff, and I luckily like had the tour experience, and like I worked at Circuit City when I was a kid, so like I was all, dude, I can sell your fucking warranties and I know guitars, dude, so let's do it, but like, it was sketchy.
When you think about touring in general, it's kind of like it's kind of obviously there always, but the pandemic really taught me that the whole business or the whole idea of it is predicated on the fact that people need to have disposable income to go fuck around at concerts and go watch their bands and shit.
Yep, 100%.
So it's like once everyone starts tightening their belts and the whole thing's fucked up, we're the first to go when you start cutting the fat.
Yep.
So it's like, thank goodness that we can do this with our lives. It's so like, it's rad to be able to have lived through it all and still can do shit that's really good for us now. So some of the shows that we just played in Australia were some of the best ones we've ever done, That's
rad. Seeing everything kind of.
A European tour that we did in 2023 was probably the best European tour the band's ever done. And that's post-pandemic. So it's like, I just feel really lucky about the whole thing.
That's rad. I do feel like Psycroptic is due for like, I don't know, because I feel a lot of the like Necrophagus, Spawn of Possession, like the early kind of technical bands that were getting big, like kind of Psycroptic's, right now the forefathers, one of the top 4 of those crazy technical bands. Like that's basically what it is, and then and now there's so many other bands. What do you guys think, like, as far as, like, I'll ask Joe this one, because just guitar playing wise, like Psycroptic's been around since 99, something like that, and then you're seeing all these new kind of like crazy technical bands come up and stuff. What is your current thoughts on the state of like kind of technical metal?
Well, I think it's getting pushed further than it ever has. Like some of it's, I listen to it, I'm like, oh, this shit's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
People are going kind of next level with it. Meanwhile, I feel like we're probably kind of going. I mean, it's not like we're not technical anymore, but like we're definitely kind of taking a step back from trying to push it.
Yeah.
Having said that, I feel like some of the stuff that I'm playing is probably the newer stuff is probably the trickiest stuff to play. But I think just in terms of songs, they're probably simpler structures, I guess. But yeah, you hear like a lot of the newer stuff, and it's like it's just like anything, the generation before, they're building on what they've heard before or what they've learned, and they're just 100%. pushing it. So yeah, there's some fucking crazy shit out there.
Yeah, definitely. People carrying the torch.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So I feel like we did it, we've done it, and we just tried to explore what kind of makes us stoked. So
the cool thing about Psycroptic is you're so unique that like if someone tries to do something like you guys, and be like, Psycroptic, you can't. In my head, I'd be like, can't do that. You can't do that. No, I'm just kidding. But like,
how about where were we that one time where there was some Psycroptic song from like 2006 playing in a venue or something like that, and Joe was like, whoever this is fucking ripping us off.
And it was Symbols of Failure or something.
Yeah. Symbols of Failure.
That's
amazing.
That's funny. That's really cool. That's cool. Yeah, it's cool to see, like, it seems like tech does this like ebb and flow of like some people aren't into it, some people aren't, and so like some people are like, oh, it's too tech, or you get kind of like the up and down. And even calling it tech now feels like I feel like a dork kind of saying that, because I used to always say technical. Like, I don't know, it's like an old man move. I'm like, dude, it's not tech, it's technical. It's like way longer, we short every word. Yeah, it's like
I don't early on, I don't think we were even kind of thinking in those terms, like of like, let's make tech music or technical. I think it was just like
crazy,
just writing riffs, and it was like, let's just this riff's cool, we'll go from this riff to this riff to this riff. We're just stuffing heaps of shit into as much stuff as we could into songs, and I guess just the end result was what you would call kind of tech,
just
I think we learned to kind of save
the
riffs,
attention deficit disorder. No, that's for me. That's what it was. It was kind of just like all right, well, you get brought up in so many like kind of like formulaic songs that you're kind of like, all right, that's cool, got it. Like you want something else. You're like, come on, we need something else. Give me, like, and that's for kind of like the.
Well, it's like a different thing you're trying to get out of it. Like I wouldn't think of those terms when I'm listening to Alice in Chains.
Yeah, not nowadays. No, yeah.
Well, no, I mean, like it's specific to the thing you're listening to. Like if you're listening to Alice in Chains or whatever, anything like that, anything that has a verse, chorus, verse type of formula, fucking Hall and Oates. I'm not thinking about like, all right, I've heard this formula, because I'm thinking about is the song.
That's true.
Does the song take me to where a place where I go or whatever?
Exactly. No, that's true. I'm talking about like what you want to like create though, when you're like, because I feel like all those songs have like they hit, like, whether I even like Tears for Fears, Depeche Mode, whatever. I'll throw like random shit out there that I love and stuff. That's like very if you break it down, it's formulaic as fuck, but like it brings you to a nostalgic moment, or brings you to like get the hairs standing up in your arms, stuff.
Yeah,
kind
of course.
But like when it's kind of like the whole being brought up in like metal though, kind of like makes you want to make it crazier. Oh, what up, Dave? Jesus Christ.
No way, hell yeah.
He moved him right in front of my face. It's like, boom. Casey just
knock in for 1 minute.
What up, man? What are you up to?
I just got to get back to work in a second. I thought I'd come in and say hi.
Yeah.
How you doing, man? What's your work?
Hi and bye.
There's this.
What are those?
Drums, of course.
Just kidding.
The drums. The drums. And I'm at the warehouse. Yeah.
Are you teaching?
No. I run an online store, and I'm just solo today. So
nice, very cool, man.
Thought I'd jump into my lunch break and say,
you got multiple lunch break people. That's awesome. Pep and you just jumped in on your lunch break. That's rad.
Pep
awesome.
was just here. He had to leave, and I was like, oh, almost got every single. But we have all you guys here. It's all good. It's great.
Almost got all your faces on one page.
Yeah, I know. You a screenshot like, hey, you know.
Fuck yeah, dude. Well, thanks for stopping by, dude. I know it's works crazy, and you're the last person there, or the only person there. That's tough.
Cheers, dude.
Yeah. Well, it's my own fault, but you guys enjoy the chat. I'm gonna smoke one now.
All right, good to see you, man.
Enjoy, Dave.
Take care.
Yeah,
you too,
the general.
I was gonna let him just sit there and that when they have to try to that one Dave Mustaine video, it's like he talks a bunch of shit to the camera and he can't end the video. He's sitting there just going fucking.
I was like medicated feet. Oh, he's trying, they can't get it.
Yeah, he's talking shit. This one was like, don't fucking ever do that again. And it won't end for how long. He doesn't edit that part out. It's
amazing.
All right, so listening to so Thriller, and then you started listening to Metallica, Joe. And then we're taking it back to you. So so Dave was pushing you to jam and stuff like that. What were the kind of Silverchair, grunge? We got that. After that, when were you? What was the first kind of stuff you were playing on guitar?
God, it's hard to recall. It might have even been stuff like Metallica and stuff. Can you remember how you get those? Those tab books. I can't remember what the company was. But they do all those album tab books.
Yep.
Pretty sure my first tab books that I had were probably those.
Hal Leonard.
Yeah. It was probably those Metallica books. Just trying to learn those tabs, and ended up with a few of those. I probably still got them. There was some grunge stuff in there. There was definitely the Pearl Jam 10 one.
Mm-hmm.
There was a Bad Motorfinger one. Soundgarden one. Yeah, so I had a bunch of that stuff, just trying to learn stuff that I couldn't play.
Didn't Pearl Jam use a bunch of open weird tunings?
Yeah, at the time, you're trying to read those sort of tabs, read that music, and it just seems so, just the way it's tabbed out and written out, it seems like the most complicated stuff in the world.
Yeah,
totally.
But really, it's just ragged playing, but they tab all that out. So you're trying to learn the mistakes and shit.
Learn soul, a soulful fill between in a tab.
Right.
All these open scrapes and shit.
And shit like that.
Yeah, ghost notes, exactly.
Yeah. So it's just that kind of stuff. I think that I was kind of learning. I think I got straight into kind of the more rocky sort of heavier stuff. But after that, it's hard to sort of recall. I think we pretty quickly got into just trying to write our own stuff, just me and Dave jamming out and stuff. We had a band previous to Psycroptic called Disseminate, which was just some weird dark black death metal stuff. It was and we had that going for a couple of years.
Nice.
And I would have started. We would have started that when I was I think I was about 12 or 13. And by the time that band finished, I was 15 or 16 when we started Psycroptic. So I started playing guitar when I was 11. So there wasn't. Yeah, it was it was only a couple of years until we started getting into it.
So you guys were the Silverchair of death metal. You guys were starting super young.
Yeah, I guess so. We were pretty young, I think the first album, because it's pretty interesting because I've just started unearthing all these old photos and shit from the first recording and previous to it. I think looking at those photos, I think it's about 15 or 16 when we recorded that Isle of Disenchantment. So it was got into it pretty quick. So
that's crazy.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So you guys just went straight to just making originals.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, I think pretty early on. I think I was just just kind of the growing pains of just trying out some covers and shit like that, just to kind of learn how to play, And then
fuck yeah, you have to.
I think as soon as Dave learned he could work out how to do like some double kicking and blast beat, and we basically got into it from there.
That's cool. That's very cool. That like so you had a place to play drums, so you guys could like just fuck around. It's, that's basically like nowadays the kids like cell phones. Like you guys had like as far as you guys had instruments and a room to play loud music. That's
so just at my parents' house, mom and dad's house, as it's called.
Yeah,
what a business.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Talk about like, so did you play? You obviously, because Dive played drums. Did you play because the kit was there? Was that kind of like why you started sitting down with it?
In terms of like playing drums as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd just sneak in and just play Dave's drums when I had the option to play. So just a little bit, just kind of dabbling here and there. Never got into like I'm not a metal drummer by any means.
What would you play on your drums? What was like the thing you'd focus or gravitate towards?
Just more rock sort of drums and just kind of funky shit, So,
just be chill.
I'm too lazy to do the double kicker or the blast, and so just kind of.
I don't get paid enough for that. You're like,
nobody.
You don't want to be
anything that
hurt,
physically hurt. I didn't bother about.
Come on.
Yeah. We always make fun of that. How when you're watching bands that are just so fast, it's like, why do we do it to ourselves? We're just
I know, right?
making fun of them on stage.
There's just less
spastic.
each like 10 beats per minute we go up. There's just less like
it's like insane. They're just there hurting the whole.
Less women just like hide.
It's like 0.5% like less chicks like per beat per minute. Like a rise. There's a graph. You can look at it.
Yeah,
just like dude, let's get rid of all the chicks, dude.
Oh my god, get rid of all the chicks times 10.
That's why it's funny whenever I talk to my wife about like the touring days, she's like, "Oh," I'm like, "Dude, you have no idea how many dudes."
So could you make it any less appealing? With the fucking. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, every now and then you'll do a gig. Like we were at the rave in Milwaukee earlier this year with on the Nile and 6 Feet Under tour.
Yeah.
And it's got multiple venues in the same venue. So I don't know if you've ever been to it. But the biggest, 100%. The big room is like upstairs, and we were in the basement. So we're playing at, I guess, the Eagles Lounge or wherever. Honestly, forget which one's which. But the big room has this country artist in it, and they had all these buses parked outside and shit. And I guess it was sold out, and it was like this massive show where I guess 3,000 people show up to see this country artist that none of us have ever even heard of. So it's wild. And I went up there later on in the night just to check it out and see what the show was like. And it was just like thousands and thousands of hot chicks. And you're like, what the fuck? Could death metal be any stupider? Like, it's great.
That's funny. Same story at Eagles Ballroom. We played Slightly Stupid was headlining the main stage, like a reggae band.
Perfect.
And it was and the tour was Vader, Decrepit Birth. I mean, in that room that you're talking about, I know it's probably the exact same room because we played like multiple stages in Eagles Ballroom. It was Vader, Decrepit Birth, Warbringer, and Amenta, and Augury. Augury was there.
Oh wow!
And yeah, it was cool. It was a really cool tour. But like we were done playing for like the 90 people maybe. I'm giving hopefully it was 90 people. It might have been 50. Yeah. And we walked out there into the main room because we got access to all the backstage shit. And it was kind of funny to see, like, it's just all like screaming women and stuff for them. And we went in the backstage, and it's just all the whole band just yelling or just arguing with their girlfriends the whole time on the phone. Just like going like, no, babe, it's not like that, babe. Like the whole time, just like, because like, I mean, imagine being a girlfriend of a guy that's in a band that's like just the women are just like, yeah, dude, all of us, like
slightly stupid.
It's so funny, dude. I know Raibo. I know the drummer. He was jamming at the studio at Generator.
Oh, really?
he had a room in the back for like up since the last few. I know those guys. I don't know those guys, but that's a good
right.
talking about.
That would have to make a difficult situation.
Yeah. I mean, it's night and day between that kind of style of music and metal is the whole thing, you know.
I was
extreme metal.
Yeah, I was actually pretty respecting. I was respecting the bass player because, like, I was just going like, you know, we're going like 230, 240, going like, you know, the whole time.
Yeah,
and he's got to hold down the whole groove like, and then like, and that's all that you hear in that room. And I'm just like, holy fuck, that guy's got to like, if you guy fucks up at all, like everyone's gonna know.
That's for sure. Yeah, no, I agree.
Actually, Rimo, the slightly stupid drummer, heard me like practicing the retromorphosis shit like a couple years ago, and I was working on that stuff, and he was just like, he was like all about it, dude. He like he's not like a death metal guy, but it's kind of funny. Like those guys, like they respect like death metal too, man.
I couldn't agree more. One time, like 10 years ago, I did a tour working for Dweezil Zappa, and I was just selling his merch.
Awesome.
And I mean, you want to talk about like fucking top tier musicians on this bus.
Dude, that's
the best that money can buy. Just all LA session players and shit like that. And they're a fantastic crew of people, and they're all fucking kooky with their how much they love music theory, and especially Zappa shit. And they would break out into song in the middle of the bus and just fucking basically theater kids. But anyway, they would listen to our stupid shit and be like, what? Like, yo, this is your band. This shit is ill, you know? They're always so like, wow, I can't believe anybody can do that. And I'm like, yo, I can't believe that guy can do that either. That's fucking wild, right?
Probably just like, what are you doing to yourself?
It's like you're gonna have all these issues with your arm. What are you doing?
It's like, and it's always the same shit. It's always like, and it's called Dying Fetus. And you're like, it fits perfect.
I love that when people that is completely outside of death metal that don't even know, and they're like theater, like they're like thespian or like, you know, fucking whatever, Broadway kind of whatever, that whole like, and they're just like, and they hear it, they're just like, whoa, yeah, like they get it right away, and you're like, really, you get it right away, like,
don't
get it right away. You know?
They hear the kicks, and they're just like, what's that clicking sound?
That metronome's going crazy, dude. What do you have the metronome going like this?
Great.
Fucking kicking the. Dude, it's crazy. Like have you guys ever seen like a crazy flamenco show where there's like a dancer guy like doing that shit on his feet, like on the stage?
I almost went to one, yeah.
Paco de Lucia, dude. I saw him like before he passed, like sometime in the Bay Area, like Oakland, I think it was. And dude, fucking, it was the most crazy shit I've ever seen. It was
where would that guy perform at? Like how big was the show?
I think it was
depends where he's at.
It was either in, I think that one was in Oakland, actually.
Right, like in a theater.
Yeah, it was some dude. It was like, okay, so like I went with like Josh, NSC. And also and then Richard and I think it was those guys. It's just three of us. We went to this, we got tickets, we went out there, and like we're like in, dude, everyone else there is like in suits, like there's like a bar thing they open up, like, and people coming in, it's like everyone's like, it's like an opera, dude, like they're buying wine, like everything's, we're just like, oh shit, we're like, you know. But it was like the most sickest.
The environment sure doesn't work. Shit.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing thing I've ever seen in my life, dude. It was fucking Paco de Lucia in the center, and then singers and like clapping people like on either side, and then like there was like the flamenco dancer in the center, but they were clapping double bass or like syncopated patterns between like perfectly like between. Fucking either side, like natural panning, like between. I was fucking insane. And then the guy on the stage during the meantime was doing that with his feet, dude, on the stage with like
doing double bass, like
with like tap dancing, like, and he was like doing the flamenco shit, dude. It was the craziest shit I've ever seen. It was so badass.
That's just cool. Like being in death metal and stuff like that, and you see like, I mean, for me, it's always been. Like any style of music, I try to find something that's cool about it, you know? No, I mean, not at this age is what I'm talking about. Back in the day, I would be like, this sucks. But now I'm like...
Everybody loves music, but they all think in terms of death metal.
Yeah.
So like, for example, you go to New Zealand for the first time, and when you walk across the street, it goes... and like it doesn't do that when in the US. So you immediately start doing blast beats, but you're not the only one who does it because you're all fucking autism or whatever, and it's and then you're doing the hi hat accents like origin style or whatever.
Yeah. Dude, I blast
so
me to the
always,
fucking
so you
blinkers, to the blinker in my car. I'm just like trying to make up different rhythms. Like,
always.
Always.
So it's like, so everything you hear, you put it through that filter, you know?
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, to me, like what I said with the slightly stupid thing, I'll think of like, see how big that setup was and like how many people was packed in there. And just to be like, to do those like those kind of reggae bass lines, I'm like, dude, that guy's a little bit off. Everyone, like, it's gonna ruin the whole vibe in here. And I was like, thinking about the pressure of that. Like, and to me, I like death metal allows me not to like overthink things because I just get to jump in. But like when you're going like super slow, I would fuck that up all day long. Like I'd be like,
no doubt.
There'd be times where I would just like be kind of dazing off and like, oh shit, like and just forget what's coming next or something, you know, which happens in death metal, but. Just
I feel like the slower stuff would be the hardest because you just have to be so
totally.
You know, if you're playing like a million miles an hour, if you're a little bit out, it's like whatever.
Sketch traffic on,
no doubt.
You're so much more exposed when it's slow.
That's a good point.
So much more exposed.
Yeah,
great way to put it.
Great.
So many more seconds to be off. So many more measures to be a little off. You know, rather than like
totally. Plus, just having that much more room in the mix, playing that style of music, it's so much more likely to be. The microscope is on you if you make a mistake, you know.
Dude, totally.
Yeah, everyone's head turns. Yeah, I mean, death metal. Everyone's heads turn at you. You're like, dude, no one noticed.
Like Joel, I think a lot of the
no, but if they did, then so be it because it's death metal. But it's one of those. It's one of those things. It's like,
and also how you recover.
People will ask you. Well, why don't you like do acoustic open mic night? It's like it's not like that. Like we're a band of dudes. You know what I mean? This is how we sound. I don't know.
Someone throws you an acoustic guitar and you're just like playing too much death metal. You're like,
I don't know how to play anything else on guitar. It's like. That's why you said before, you're like, dude, teach it all. I'm like, I don't even know anything about music. Fuck that.
Oh, shit. That's awesome.
I got a question.
Shoot it.
For Joe. So, you're like, riffing and writing style is like so just iconic and badass, dude, you know? And, but like your picking, your rhythmic picking and the tightness of that is like, so I remember when I met Matt from Decrepit Birth and we like recorded our first, it's 2004. We recorded the first little odious thing. It's just me and Dan went up there to Santa Cruz and we just had met him and we were like 21, you know, we didn't, you know, we were kind of fanboying out. So dude, like, and he like made a point to us to, in Time Begins had been, that was the only thing released at that time. And then like he was just like, dude, like the two bands you need to check out is this, and I haven't heard of these bands at all. He's like, dude, Psycroptic, like the Scepter of the Ancient shit. He was like, that guitar player is like the sickest guitar player I've ever heard in my life. Like that, he was like, I remember this, dude. And also Necrophagus, like it was like the first like demos.
Yeah, Onset.
And so I remember that. I was just like, Matt was like obsessed with you guys, like, and you're playing. And so, and I remember just listening to it, and just like, and he's like, I don't know how someone can play that tight, like with their hand and stuff. And so I got to tour with you and you know, play with you and see that live. And of course, you know, been friends many years and seeing you guys recently and all that. It was so sick. The point is like, how do you do it, dude? Like people want to know. It's like you're a big deal, dude, man. You know, and stoked to have you here. And like, I don't know that, but like, dude, how do you fucking play so tight like that?
Bro, he's just got it like that. You don't understand.
Like
he just be like that.
I know. Come on. So I want to know all your secrets, dude. Just okay. So it's not your turn.
Jeez. Well, I don't know. Like, it's kind of a different sort of mindset. Like going back to like the scepter stuff. That's a very different sort of thing. To be honest, I don't know if I could actually play half that stuff. The speed that it is, because a lot of that came from So that album was like the studio that we recorded in, but they weren't on digital yet. It was all like tape, so it was like mega early sort of days.
It's all tape.
There wasn't much digital. Yeah, there wasn't much digital stuff going on, but it also put the pressure on. So we kind of were pretty anxious going in there. So we'd have to record. Me and Dave, like, so we'd obviously practice a lot together. We'd come up playing together. We'd have to. I'd have to track my first guitar. I don't know if we had to, but we did the drums and the first guitar just live together. Just because that's how we played forever. But because of the pressure of just like basically, I mean, you could sort of drop in here and there, but there had to be, on tape, there had to be a bit of space to be able to do it. And all those ridiculous songs didn't have much space. So,
right.
Yeah, so it was all, because we were kind of all pretty fired up, it was just like, we were probably playing like twice as fast as we should have been. I just sort of, because like as we were sort of coming up, like Dave was like he was all about the feet, he was always like, and just kind of naturally, I guess, just my whole thing was just like, I've got to lock in the picking stroke with the feet, and because I guess just at the end of the day with that stuff, it was just like, it's kind of like any sort of live gig as well. Like around the same time, you kind of get a bit anxious and you push way faster than what you would usually feel comfortable doing. You just kind of get kind of fired up. So like that was kind of the result with the album. Like everything was like so fast on it, just because of that pressure to like we basically had to just play the song. And I can remember coming back and doing like doing the overdub guitar, just doing like the second, overdub the second guitar or whatever.
Yeah.
Coming back in like another day to do it, and I'm just like, shit, this stuff is so fast. And not actually realizing as we're tracking just how fast we're doing it. But it was just, I guess that was the initial thing that we laid down. All the drum takes were good. So I was like, oh shit, I got to match this stuff now at this ridiculous speed.
It's like sibling kind of like competition. It's like he's like, you nailed the drum tracks. I gotta step up.
Well, the thing was, we were tracking the initial guitar with it, so we didn't actually realize until we came back to like track another guitar. I was like, oh shit, this stuff is fast. So you listen back to that stuff and it's like, whoa.
So
pretty
so
cool.
wait, Joe, did you have to treat the first one as a scratch, and then when you recorded the next layer of guitars over the drums, it was really the first layer?
I think maybe there was. I know the very first album we did, the scratch guitar was the guitar, and then we just overdubbed it second. Yeah, that was for Isle. But yeah, you might be right. We probably did
that's
like
the realest shit. Dude, it's fucking wild. That's one take shit.
But yeah, with Scepter, it would have been like, it was probably a scratch.
So I was going to ask you. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, but that was the drums were to the scratch. So it was like, so if you listen to it, it's like, if you, it's like borderline impossible to put a click to it because it's just jumping all around the place. Because it's like we're playing, we're just playing every riff as fast as we can possibly play. So it's just like the tempos are jumping all over the place.
It's pretty amazing, dude. It is like
pretty
one
funny.
of the most. Scepter in particular,
I laugh.
The way the rhythm guitars match the kicks, and just like, dude, it's I don't know if I can think of anything that sounds like that. That's so sick. That doesn't just sound obviously quantized or something. Like there's something about that's like, dude, like I've never heard anything. Like, I mean, obviously all
thinking back, I reckon that's what we would have done. We would have like. Tracked it, and I would have been just like I would have had the kicks turned way up, just trying to lock into the kicks, the picking.
Right.
That reminds me of the story of, the hat that I'm wearing. Same kind of for Cabinet. That's what they were saying. It was kind of like they were so locked in that they just went in and just like kind of played live. They were like, played like, you know, and both those albums are like the biggest heavy hitters for like underground tech technical death metal. Sorry, not tech death. That is
death metal.
It's quicker to say it like that. No,
technically,
but no, but like those albums. I remember me and Carrie, my best friend Carrie, we were sitting there just going like, I thought the kicks were quantized, like, and had other drummers listen to it. They're like, no, they're not. But the thing is, there's mistakes in them being that fast, and that's what makes it the best. You know, there's like,
I mean, you can hear bits where we come into a riff at a tempo, like on Scepter, we'll come into a riff, and then it's almost like we realize once the kicks come in, it's like, whoa, we can't play that fast, and the whole thing slows down.
Then you pull back.
That's organic.
There's a bit like that in Power Sleep, I reckon.
Yeah, at the start of that, there's some bits where it's like, and also, likewise, there'll be riffs that would be meant to be slow riffs, but we're just all hyped up, so we're just playing it as fast as we can. So it's like you hear all
Casey
these.
and I know about that.
It's just jumping all over the place.
The Cryptic Implosion. I remember me and Casey, like Dan couldn't make the drum recording, and we were brand new to like professional recording, and it was me playing bass into Casey's ear, and we were so excited. Casey's like, dude, you got to like play bass in my ear or something, and we were just like so hyped up that we had no idea that we were going way too fast. And then Dan came the next day and was like, "What the fuck did you guys do?" He was so bummed.
He was like mad.
He was so mad. He was like, "I don't know if I can play this."
I found that it was common before the click track days. That was what we had. That's what we were up against. I used to have arguments with my drummer, like, "Yo, that is way too fast." He'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about? It's the same." And then we'd hear a live recording, and he'd be like, "Yikes, fast!" I'm like, "I've been bitching about this, you know." But then again, I also had this theory where if he can go that fast, then why the fuck can't I go that fast? And then
yeah. Back then, it's like, we could do it. Let's do it. You know, that's to me that was recorded on. I mean, I think Dave brought that up on his episode, but the fact that was recorded not digitally is insane to me. That's banana. It's Banana Town.
It's just
we didn't know any different either. You know, it was like that was like kind of that was the only studio that was kicking around down here, and. Stu, the guy that ran it, he was pretty late adopting. You know, I think he was just trying to hold on as long as he could before jumping on the Pro Tools kind of thing.
He probably paid a lot of money for his tape machine.
It's probably expensive. Fuck
dude.
You know, it's like the fuck.
He's like, "You want to make an edit, dude? Sick, dude. Let me get my scissors."
Right? Old style, man. The cutting room floor.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he kind of. I mean, he held on to the analog thing for a long time. He was like, he wasn't sure about the digital thing. But once he had been using Pro Tools for a few years, he was just immediately like, fuck that. Fuck the tape bullshit. Telling us all the nightmare stories of like, cutting the tape and then cutting too much and having to dig through the trash trying to find this tape. It's like,
Jesus, that's so crazy. Yeah, mistakes.
We change our mind.
Mistakes can be made. Yeah, that's with cutting the tape.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you just got to nail it. I mean, but also it brings that, that's kind of what I was a little bit hinting at, asking you about. And, it's a bunch of bands, obviously all the tools are available now. Like everything, we all have like professional tools now, Pro Tools, like nowadays. And to being, again, with you guys, with that story, plus, with what Spawn said about the same thing, it's just like, you got times of the essence. You have this many hours to record it, and this is what you can afford. It's like you got to get it done. Like you have to be. You can't fuck around. You can't just just do thing. All right, let me try it again.
I always thought the same exact way. Like it's a matter of fucking being stupid or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. It's like back then you could not fuck around. It's like you have to get this right. Like or else it's gonna be like that on the album. So it's like, do you wanna fuck around and find out, or do you want to be like, like super fucking tight and practice all the time? And it's funny because you and your brother, you were talking about this earlier, like his double kicks and stuff. You guys, I think the answer is, Casey asked about like your picking and stuff. You guys have like some unbelievable twitch capabilities in your muscles. That's genetic. I feel like there's some sort of a twitch somewhere, like a twitch muscle, because like someone was telling me about like sports people, like there's the twitch people and then there's the strength people. So it's like like the Twitch people like can go like fast, they can run, make movements really quick, and the strong people can lift a bunch of heavy shit. So I feel like there's something about, because I have like a little bit of that Twitch thing too, and but you guys have learned to control it and hone it in. You guys remind me of, I mean, Ron and Bobby Jarzenbeck, like as far as like the closest thing I could relate to you guys. I wouldn't say Dimebag and Vinny, because I don't think that was the style you guys had together. I think the precision is more like Bobby and Ron Jarzenbeck, you know? I feel like that's just kind of that brain thing. I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not something that would like it's just interesting hearing like kind of the outside kind of, you know, looking in or whatever, but it's, you know, I mean, we never even thought of any of this stuff, you know. It was just like we're just doing our thing, doing what we thought sounded cool, you know.
Yeah.
People seem to dig it, so it's like, yeah, cool.
Did a damn good job.
So awesome.
I got a question for Joe. There was like a really sick riff. I don't remember. It was like years back, and I was like this Psycroptic riff, and I was like just kind of fucking around with like trying to figure out the scale that you guys were playing it in, and I was like, it's probably just like your own like just concoction, you know. But do you guys ever like think of like, oh, this is like a Phrygian whatever this and that, add, you know, add this minus this bebop whatever, like add this tone, and you know, just like a scale, like or do you just like go by ear when you write stuff?
Yeah, you can definitely hear like at a certain point in time, you can hear probably the scales that I was getting into at the time. It's definitely like you listen to Scepter the Ancients. It's just like, oh, cool! I discovered this Phrygian dominant scale. You know, that Phrygian whole album. Is just that. That's all that is. But I try to like these days. It's like, you know, you kind of add elements that you learn over time. But these days, I just try to kind of forget everything and just go by what sounds cool. And if I have to work it out, I'll work it out later. I kind of, if anything, I like a lot of the time if I want, I'll try to kind of, I don't know, get outside any of that kind of knowledge and just to try and make it sound a bit more unique. You know, you can kind of, in some ways, I kind of envy some people, like a lot of people that may have never really gotten into theory and stuff like that, because they are just like 100% just using their ear, and they'll just kind of go for stuff you'd never even think of, you know, because like, so people that have, you know, if you've kind of studied stuff or, you know, trained in certain things, you're just going to like, you're going to kind of go by those guide rails, I guess. And I kind of envy people that, you know, in a lot of cases, envy people that have never looked at that, because they can come up with like truly, you know, unique sounding kind of shit.
Yeah, it's like almost like people like learning to sing something or like copy something on an instrument is kind of the same thing as like I want to sing what you sang, and that's like super common. People sing, you know, and like so it's like, but it's like like people, oh, they might not know that they're like playing this scale that means, oh, you have like a major third and blah blah blah, and these little things and shit like that. But like it's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, you just hear what you hear, man, and I think that's cool though, to like just write, or I mean, like, you know, like, I mean, basically, like if you're hearing something, you can like analyze it. It's just analyzation of tonality, you know. You can choose to analyze it or not, it doesn't really matter, but it exists or it doesn't, you know. And so I think that's really sick, like just but I think what's really cool about you guys is like you've created like a rad melodic and harmonic like tonality that like works like, and you've done it since, dude, fucking 20 plus years, that you just have your own sound, like, and that's it, in short, you know. And I think that's like really important and cool, and that's like multifaceted, like of course like with the whole band, but yeah, it's
a really hard thing to achieve, I think. For like extreme heavy metal type of shit, it's really hard to have like a really identifiable sound or something that's very unique to just that band. That's immediately like, oh, that's fucking Joe Haley, you know. That's super cool.
Yep.
So,
and beyond the talent and beyond all that sound, I think what's rad about like bands is like this band sounds different. Like Cryptopsy sounds different from Suffocation, sounds different from Psycroptic or whatever. Like, I love that. Like when a different band comes on stage, like I want to hear like, oh fuck, here comes like this band. Like,
demonstrate your style.
It's like so sick. Yeah, it's like when Psycroptics come, I'm like, fuck yeah, here we go. And so like, or like Origin or something, or bands that just like they're gonna do their thing, you're gonna do your thing, and like or Gorga.
Origin fucking does their thing, dude. I think,
dude. And I love like,
right? It's like
yeah, go for it, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think there's a delay, dude. Sorry, go ahead, Todd. You're saying something.
No, Origin is a perfect example of a band that just does their thing. It's like I think if I understand what you're saying correctly, it's like, yo, demonstrate your style and then show the people what they came to see and your strongest version of it or whatever. And it's rad if you can win them over with your style that's unique to your own band. So it's like I'm in a weird position. I can't pile on the fucking. Look at how sick Joe Haley is. I'm on like I'm on the other side of the interview, I suppose. But but I feel the same exact way. Does the Godfather of fucking,
You gotta come up with a style of what Joe Haley plays, because has it been named? It's a different style than ever. Like I can't even think of anything witty right now, but crop shred. I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how you call it. Yeah, it's the fucking coolest thing in the world.
Yeah,
I love it too, because like the same thing, because Joe and Casey have a lot in common, which is they hate being complimented. So I just love just piling them on.
I know, right? Yeah, just attacking Joe with compliments, and we're just like, hey,
we got a professor in here.
Speaking
to help us out,
we got someone to help us.
Who we got?
He's he is a circling circle right now, but I think he'll be there.
He'll be here soon. It's all good.
The professor,
yeah,
plays in To Violently Vomit. All those.
Discord.
He's like one of the. Look at this guy. This beautiful man.
There he is.
Check.
Uh-oh.
Disgorge.
Check.
How we doing?
How's it going?
Psycroptic.
Yeah.
Is that who we're talking to?
What's here?
Can't see anything. Fuck, I can't see any of you.
You can't see him.
There you
It's
are.
Joe and Todd, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome on to our podcast.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, good
Joe's-
to see
What's
you
going
guys.
on?
Cheers. Don't let me interrupt. Just carry on.
So Joseph, what are you up to?
Just got back from work.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, dude, Joseph, we're so stoked to have you here right now.
Yeah,
This is
dude.
great. Joseph got back from tour with Defeated Sanity and all those bands out in Europe, and a couple months ago, whatever it was, and Joseph is the main drummer.
He's actually a professor. He's here after post-professing
Mhm.
after playing death metal. So that's kind of what we're talking about a little bit.
Joseph, tell us how important Psycroptic is to you.
Yeah, and tell Joe Haley how good he is a bunch, and then watch his face.
We're complimenting the band. And
Yeah.
it's been-
Oh yeah. Do you remember the bingo? Someone made Cali Death bingo years ago, and one of the squares was exuberant praise of guest. And so that's what we're hitting right now.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. What do you got to say, dude? Scepter of the Ancients. Everyone,
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
everyone loves it. It's legendary.
Did you know it was recorded on tape?
Yeah,
It's
because I
ridiculous.
interviewed Dave Haley with you guys.
Well, I have memory
Nice.
problems.
Well, it was only like 300 episodes ago, but yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
Joseph
know.
covers all. We don't.
The last time I saw you guys was in Los Angeles with the co-headliner with Fallujah
Yep.
Oh, hell yeah.
We all saw that. It's weird at different places.
Yeah.
at the whiskey show. Yeah, and
the whiskey show's
Go-Go
dope.
venue. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
and it was a really, really good show, and it kind of reinvigorated my interest in the band. And I was like,
Nice.
dude, Psycroptic are still killing it, and congrats on signing. I want to say it's Metal Blade you guys just signed with, unless I didn't.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Fuck, I didn't even know
Congrats,
that.
guys.
Well,
Yeah.
That's what we need
Right.
Joseph here.
Yeah. Yeah, I follow them on social media. I know what's going on.
Well, I knew it too. That's why we need. Yeah. Anyway, thank you.
Did Ryan have anything to do with you guys getting signed? Ryan from Black Dahlia? I feel like he would been the guy.
That's our guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a feeling because he hits me up every now and then. He's like, dude, send me bands. I need to like sign bands. And yeah, fucking Psycroptic. When did you guys sign?
Just got announced, but I guess we dealt with a contract earlier this year.
Nice.
At the beginning
we
of
tried
25.
to make a big thing of it with dropped that single recently.
Yeah, single sick,
which we're gonna release that ourselves, but then we just figured it just made sense to make a big thing of it. You know, signing new single, drop it, bang. It was like a big announcement, and yeah.
You guys don't have to answer this, but like nowadays, you know, obviously with streaming and, you know, physical media being kind of like less of a thing, what's like signing a big contract or a big label contract like nowadays? Is I don't know if you can answer that question, but as far as like difference between like a small, you know, signing a unique leader back in the day versus like signing to a Metal Blade now, what's it just mainly?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, I can't really. I just want to know like what, I don't know. You can't even divulge it, so that's a shitty question actually.
I mean, something that like immediately kind of became apparent to me because I'm dealing with the like the social media sort of thing. It's like, I mean, they've immediately just got in that capacity, they got more reach straight away, you know. So
nice.
Immediately would see that, like, you know, we've dropped this new single, we're signed to Metal Blade, but immediately that it's like people that have never heard of us before, you know, that are coming across us because of their reach, you know, their YouTube numbers and their, you know, their Instagram numbers and all that sort of shit. So straight away from my perspective, because I'm dealing with that, I can see that, you know, that side of things kind of, you know, gets a big boost, you know, for us. You know.
Definitely.
But there's obviously, you know, and I think Dave's the businessman. He kind of would know.
It's like, what up, guys? All right, see you later. Just take some.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like I can think of a bunch of reasons why it's advantageous for the band to join forces with Metal Blade, but that really speaks nothing to what the difference is between that and like what would have happened with the unique leader days, because who knows what those contracts looked like. Probably Dave. I remember back in the day, like just being underground and being offered like a shitty record deal. It was usually in terms of if you had nothing to work with as far as like creating value in a marketplace or whatever, they would just give you some sort of merchandising contract where it'd be like, if you give me your album, I'll pay the cost to print 2,000 of them, but I give you 10% of them. And then you sell them for whatever the fuck you sell them for, and I get to keep what I make in retail. And it's like at least a little bit of a push. But between those days and now, the game has changed so much that I don't even know what chips record labels have to bargain with other than their reach and their available distro or whatever. It's like,
because my friends that have worked for bigger labels and stuff, it's basically like, hey, interested in bands, but like they got to have a reach. You know, it's like that's and not like the bands that like I'm like, dude, this band's gonna be sick. It's kind of like, well, they only have this many followers. And I feel like maybe now it's a collection of followers to help other bands out better.
Nobody knows when the weather's gonna change. It's like you know, it's like now you're doing it from, I guess, the label being the lender's position. It's like, all right, well, what fucking can you do to show us what you got in numbers terms? It's like, well, this is bullshit. Fucking Spotify plays doesn't let you know how good a band is or whatever. But then, you know, you have bands that just blow the fuck up out of nowhere, and all of a sudden it's like, and you get to tell fucking labels what the terms are, you know. When it comes to like, I don't know what happens with like Lorna Shore type shit or Sanguisuga Box style bands that just all of a sudden it's like, well, who's putting asses in the seats type of conversation that you got to have with a label that wants to do business with you and not you asking for them to give you fucking table scraps. It's so weird, you know?
Yep. No, 100%. It's mainly it's the market. I mean, the model is put you out there. They can make some, I guess on Spotify would be the pay or some sort of merch stuff, but you have to go out on the road to earn your money. It's not going to be like, you know, never like we never earned money from record sales, by the way. It was never like,
right.
But even pre-Spotify, that was not like, oh yeah, dude, signed. So this many albums is going to be like, you know, $500 a week. Or it was never like that. It was always like for the band. It was like in a position, in an underground position, would be like, yeah, how many people can you pull out? How many people can buy shirts that you've been you bought for a certain price, and how much can you sell them for? That's basically like from what I've seen. But I mean, there's been a lot of cool things I've seen with, you know, with people doing stuff online, with Twitch, you know, like Fallujah, like Scott was doing that stuff for a while, but that kind of stuff I haven't seen as much. Yeah. So I feel like it kind of like maybe took a downturn. I have no idea, but it's
no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know about this futuristic age of making yourself more worth more doing shit like that. I saw Scott's
it seems to
Twitch
change
studio.
Like changes like every other year, you know. It's just like someone else is the new thing to do. Totally. It's like I just can't keep up with it, you know?
Yeah,
it's wild.
It's like bands creating their own like crypto. Like I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, right. Everything is just an overnight sensation. But yo, with this particular like correspondence though with Metal Blade, everything's been like we're all kind of like older dogs, and there's no new tricks being played on us, and we're all it's just like a healthy
it's awesome
business type of relationship that's like secondary to everyone's just, you know, why don't we just do our thing as a team, you know?
That's cool. Yeah.
It
takes a load off your shoulders
that way.
It takes a load off your shoulders as far as like marketing, getting a booking agent, stuff like that. Like a lot of things like become like taken care of. It's basically like kind of get some employees.
It feels like a handshake deal with your boy from Black Dahlia Murder is what it feels like.
Yeah,
you know
what I'm saying? Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So,
shout out Ryan.
How good is that? Yeah.
That's rad. That's super rad. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Like if you were like you know, those bands that we've had on here that are like, we're not doing it. We're gonna go, you know, but they have to put a lot of work in. You know, if they want to like do that on their own, that's like, you know, Zoth, one of the bands that we've had on multiple times, and they're just like, we're not gonna do it. And I'm like, damn, okay. Well, they boots on the ground, got to do all their own shit, got to do all the merch, and Joseph's seen probably other bands that have done shit like that, right?
The ones I'm thinking of are Archspire going independent right now.
Yeah,
obviously that's kind of a big deal, and see how that pans out. And at the same time, Cryptopsy re-signing to, I don't remember which label they just signed to recently, after being independent for a while. And so you can kind of see like bands jumping in and out of being independent or not. Yeah, I think it definitely has to do with just like distribution of workload, essentially. Like if you want to build everything yourself versus that. Yeah. So I mean it's
there's only so many hours in a day, right? I respect it.
Yep.
Like, all right, you're going all in on your band so hard that it's up to you to take care of the ins and outs of running this without external help, even if it's for the sake of, let's see if we could cut the fat, or let's see if like we're just better at it on our own, or we have ideas that might have been stifled by, you know, your higher ups or whoever the fuck you might have to, I don't know, answer to, so to speak. Let's say you owe a label an album and they have a problem with the way you titled it or some ridiculousness, any fucking NWA style story where you just want to let yourself off the leash, but you're being, I don't know, it could be anything, you know?
Well, now it's like you said, I think it's more like there's less leverage now. So it's kind of like just bros helping out bros more than like we own you, you know? It's more like we want to help you out a little bit, you know? It's more like, and we were talking to a couple other bands that just like decided to reach licensing deals to sell their album. It wasn't like, you know, they did that on their own rather than like having, but the thing is that that took a lot of work to do that. You know, it wasn't just like, oh yeah, we'll just license our album out. It's like,
I don't know that there's
so many things.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I don't know that there's necessarily a way that makes most sense unless it's individually up to the artist. It's kind of like, just like, dude, some people lease their car and some people fucking own their car, and that's just how they like it, you know?
Yep. No, that makes sense. I talked to Casey about that today because his car had issues, and we were talking about leasing versus owning today.
There you go. Sometimes it's just a matter of style. It's like, this is like, we run our own shit around here. And honestly, dude, the Archspire boys know what the fuck they're doing. If I could say that.
Yeah, 100%. You know? I mean, especially like after the post-pandemic tour they did, they had an explosion. Like I remember going to the show in Santa Cruz,
dude.
and like you know, Entheoses are people like Naveen and Cheney have lived down the street from me for a long time. Those are our people, and seeing them like play the biggest death metal show in Santa Cruz, I'm just like that's ever happened, you know, out of the history of this town. Just going like, holy fuck, what the fuck's going on? And Archspire was at the top of the bill, and people were going nuts. Awesome. And I was like, dude, you got to capitalize on that, you know, like do something with that. And it's a lot of it is though nowadays, like what Joseph was kind of saying, like it's reach. How can you reach people? Like it's not like, you know, there could be a kid
also
that comes out with a song.
Like, well, they're seeing in real time whether or not your fans actually support you, because I think that's the whole idea of the whole independent concept. It's like, well, I think they even use the term safety net. It's like, okay, so now this is us, which to me, it's sick, because it's like, at least you're going to be willing to blame yourself if this all goes sideways or whatever the fuck. But no safety net means, are your fans going to be there for you if you need them to be? And it's like, I don't know this. It's a brand new age. It's like, I wouldn't even think of shit like this.
Yeah. Shout out Dan Presslin in the comments.
Shout out Dan.
Danny boy.
That's cool.
Danny boy. Yeah. A lot of people use your click samples, Dan.
I use Dan's kick sample.
Nice.
Yeah. With all my bands, but To Violently Vomit included, which is Disgorge. And it was a big hit on the European tour. And I have to say our sound guy preferred it to Lille's kick drum sample. And there was pressure on from sound and from the other band members for Lille to change his kick sample, but he was stubborn. He didn't want to use the kick that everyone uses or whatever. So
nice.
You don't want to come with the group. He's like, no, dude. My shit sounds. It's like my Metallica snare sounds the sickest, dude. Fuck you, dude. I'm sticking with it.
Yeah,
that's rad. No, but totally. That's Go ahead, Joseph. Sorry.
Oh yeah. I actually don't know where I was going with whatever I was about to just say.
Dan Prezzo, what a performer! I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
Let's start with that. I'm glad Dan is in Abel Viscaris again. I guess I was a little tentative to say that, but it's my feelings. So there you are. Yeah. The other best Australian death metal band.
I mean, Australia's got a heap of good shit.
Oh yeah. So I'm a little late to this conversation, so I have no idea what you guys have covered already. So it's a little.
I was actually just thinking about that.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that because I was gonna say, oh, we just did a tour in Australia with Neil, and I was like, oh fuck, we already did that.
Fuck. Yeah. Hey, this is the perils of live podcasting and too many hosts.
Totally.
Whatever.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
No doubt.
But we want to make sure we're covered if one of our hosts can't make it, and I was personally invited.
Just part of the price you got to pay, you know.
Yeah, I got the call, and I just flew back last night from visiting family and stuff, and then got back, had to work like a 12-hour shift today. And Casey's like, dude, no one can make it. What's going on? And it's like Psycroptic, and I'm like, well, it's one of my favorite fucking bands. I'm gonna do everything I can to make it. So I was just rushed here, and I was texting Joseph like, when are you gonna be on, dude? I'm late. I need to eat. Like I didn't get a lunch break today. I have to crap.
I was late. Yeah.
It's nonstop, boys. You gotta.
I know, right?
Well, it's a full day.
So, so what time is it in Australia right now? Like 2 p.m. or something?
10 to 2.
Where are you guys based out of? Are you still? It's not Australia. It's Tanzania. Am I wrong?
Tanzania.
Tasmania. Fuck. Damn it. Just.
Oh yeah. We're from Africa. We're at.
I've had that before. People say
it's 11:50 p.m. here on East Coast time.
Oh, you're East Coast time. Okay.
That's
East
right.
Coast
Oh, damn.
Okay.
But maybe we should go into. So basically, we got into Joe's history and stuff. So him and his brother are just like Bobby and Rob Jarzenbeck. They're just like the shredders of all time. So it's kind of boring how good they are because they're so good. It's kind of sucks how good they are because they're the best in the world. But I love But let's get into Todd's though. So Todd, same question. Like starting off young, like what got you into music?
Dude, honestly, there's so much overlap in what Joe was already talking about that it's kind of fucked up. It's like at the same exact time in history, on the other sides of the world, without even knowing it, we were practicing to the same tab books. I was full on. I mean, I didn't really start playing guitar till like ninth grade, but it was all learning
Leonard.
Metallica riffs out of those same old tab books.
Yep.
And it was everything I could get in me from the first 4 albums, and that taught me my entire technique, both hands. And I guess young, I was into just music in general. Like I even remember liking U2 songs and shit.
Yeah.
And Aerosmith would have probably been the first thing that was like kind of a little
So you're
bit
mainly
more
guitar
edge.
starting off. You're starting off guitar.
Yeah, I always was into the sound of it for some reason. I just spoke to my fucking numbskull tendencies. And then
the fucking sickest, dude. Guitar. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I honestly, like when and where I grew up, I was the perfect age to be simultaneously really into like Onyx and Wu-Tang and like Guns N' Roses and fucking Motley Crue, shit like that.
Yeah. So what part of New Jersey did you grow up in?
It's this town called Leonardo, where the movie Clerks was filmed.
Oh,
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So like right in the center, all the way on the East Coast. And yeah,
I'm such a fan of that movie, and then like visiting you, and you're just showing me all the sites, and I'm just.
Did you know the sites of all the like where they hung out in front of the liquor store and stuff like
that?
Yeah. So the quick stop, the little quick stop bodega where the movie was filmed is where me and my boys used to steal candy bars and shit from when we were walking home from school.
You were jazz Bob.
Yeah, that show fucking that movie must have hit home, man, when that came out.
It was like, wait, why people are fucking all obsessed over this place? Get the fuck out of here. It's too funny. But at that time, I was into, I don't know, like the Death Row record side of things. And I also was into like Metallica, and that's what got me into guitar playing. And then Leonard Skinner got me really into guitar playing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know, I guess somehow I got mixed up between, I discovered a lot of bands watching Beavis and Butthead, to be honest.
Nice.
And I think I was the perfect age for that as well. I was probably in like grade 5 when Beavis and Butthead was first becoming a thing on MTV, and me and my friends were just being that type of knucklehead.
How old are you?
Thinking, I'm 41.
Oh, you got 1 year on me, dude.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I discovered Pantera because of Beavis and Butthead, and I discovered Morbid Angel because of Beavis and Butthead for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like, I don't know, I think it's like hot sauce. You just get spicier as you go. I remember thinking, I remember hearing Winds of Creation by Decapitated on a college radio station when I was probably 16 or 17. And and from then on, I was all death metal that I was interested in pursuing and like trying to learn how to go fast and shit.
Yep.
But I played guitar for the whole while, and then I never even owned a bass until I joined Psycroptic. It was strange. That all worked out.
Sounds like me and Odious. Sounds like me and Odious.
Oh yeah, it's just sometimes it happens.
My dad, I remember I was a kid. My dad was like, I want to play with this. They're so sick. But my dad's a bass player, so I was like, I want to learn bass too. And he this is like 2003 or something. And he's like, all right, well, I'll get you a simple bass for your birthday kind of thing. Like a shitty ESP bass. And learning Nux Vomica. It was like, it's a Odious song. And I was like, all right, I have the twitch to do this, so I can hang with it. It was kind of like a same thing though. I was into the classic rock, brought up classic rock, all the things, and alternative rock. And did you guys actually, Joe? I got to know if in Australia and Tasmania, did you guys did nu metal hit you? I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Did.
Yeah. I was kind of into it when it first came.
Yeah.
Just because it was different and weird. But then every other band sounded the same as the one before it. So yeah. I remember. Yeah, when I first heard it, I was like, "Yeah, this is cool. This is new and different." But definitely. Yeah.
I just want to see I want to go back in time and just like for people in just Australia, other countries, and just play them like a Limp Bizkit back in the past, and just watch their faces and be like, just stare and watch them. I just want to watch them and just be like, what do you think?
It's wild.
But I mean, Wes Borland's a great guitar player. But I'm saying like just the completely different style of mixing these things together that weren't currently mixed, and yeah, especially from you guys being out in Tasmania, and not, you know, you had that record shop that Dave was. I keep saying dive. I can't stop saying dive. Can't. Well, on tour, he was like, it's spelled like, or say like you're diving off a board. So
Right.
I can't
Dive.
stop saying it.
Dive.
Dive. But yeah, but no, it's cool seeing like, yeah, I want to watch reactions of people that have been brought up in a certain style, in a certain culture, and then like listening to the music that's popular, and then like throw that at them and just see what their
Well,
face
they
does.
always say that Australia does what the U.S. does, but they're just a few years later.
Yeah, true.
He's like, Joe's like, fuck you, dude. It sucks.
Well, it fucking makes no sense because they live in the future.
Yeah,
That's true. That's true.
Well, especially being way into like video games and growing up with video games and shit. We
Right.
always get the video games like a year later. It's like, fuck.
Bullshit.
Everyone's already beat it a million times over here.
Right.
That's hilarious.
Did you guys all already talk about how Todd ended up joining the band?
No.
A good point.
We're
It
gonna
was
get
a
there.
freak occurrence. It was it wasn't meant to go that way. It was like in 2015. So I didn't learn this till later, but like a lot of times Psycroptic tour in the States, you know, they really have to be strict about the visa issue. You can't perform here if you don't have a work visa. So I think what happened was that the visa only had so much time left on it, and they got a last minute tour offer that was like not everyone could make it. So it was like Joe and Dave could do it, but in order to do it, they'd have to get someone else to sing and have to get someone else to play bass. So they just got two dudes that live in the States. So, you know, no flight, no visa, type of thing. But then when searching for a fill-in to get to do the bass gig, Dave called Brett, who's one of my oldest friends, who was playing bass for Revocation at the time. And I guess Revocation and Psycroptic had just done a tour together in Australia and New Zealand in like 2014 or something like that. So that's what made Dave think to call Brett. Brett couldn't do it, so he just recommended me for the gig, which was a total crapshoot. And then yeah, we did a tour together with Whitechapel in the US in November of 2015, which was my first one. Jay Kaiser from Origin sang, and we did it in a van, and it was fucking hilarious, honestly. We had a really good time. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I stuck around for a bit doing just filling in because it was a really awesome gig and I really enjoyed it, and they seemed to like having me around. So we did Europe the following year, and I was just kind of like on a need to know basis because Cam Grant, the original bassist, well, the gig still belonged to him so long as he wanted it, but I guess he started working on like an offshore rig where you're 4 or 5 months on, 4 or 5 months off, and touring just became like an impossibility. So I didn't officially join the band until 2018, which was rad because then I got to meet Cam in person, and it was like a fucking, you know, unofficial passing of the torch with that. Super fucking cool. So it's just, for me, it's just, I'm in a really unlikely scenario where I'm from Tasmania as well, which is a really remote place to be from, is considering it's like an underground death metal band that not a lot of people know about. It's just fucking awesome to me, you know.
You know what's pretty funny is that we've seen bands like Neuraxis, and there's a lot of bands that like are like, you know, like from other sides of the whole world, and then they just hire like a guy from like New Jersey or Boston to play like guitar, like a play, and like they get along really well though. That's the point that like I always like Josh Staples and Neuraxis.
I love Josh Staples.
Yeah, Josh.
Fucking what a rad guy.
Hell yeah. Everybody, he still he knows a little bit of French and stuff, but like he seems like completely like if you were to put them, like if you were to meet them separately and be like, hey, would these guys get along? You'd be like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, but like living in a van together. But it seems like I've seen a lot of bands like have like Eastern European bands or, you know, Australia or something like that, and they have like a guy from fucking New Jersey playing, you know, and something in the band. Yeah, it works.
It's so silly that I don't know. To me, it adds like this whole funniness to it that it makes the whole thing more enjoyable for all of us because we all kind of lean into it. It's like, and I think the whole thing only became a serious offer in the first place is because Dave just loves ideas that are kind of out there. So that's like the entrepreneur in him. He's like, yo, I got a fucking crazy idea. You join the band. And then I'm like, yeah, but And I remember doing an Australian tour and thinking to myself, like, there are so many fucking dudes that are just rad Aussie dudes that I meet out here that could easily play the parts and fucking hang out. Like, I mean, it didn't make any sense to me. But it was just a perfect fit. So we just kept doing it, you know?
That's very cool.
It's just such
That's
a funny,
Yeah.
such a sliding doors moment, because the whole Brett Bamberger thing, like, because he was like saying, yeah, I can 95% do it or whatever. I'm like, cool. So he was going to be the original fill-in for that tour. I think it came down to like maybe even just a couple of weeks out. He was just like, oh, I can't do it, but my housemate can do it. And we're like, I guess.
All right, go for it. Give it a shot.
Flex your plug.
Damn.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, wild. All right. And I had to borrow a bass to learn the songs in the first place.
That's cool. And then
Fucking
obviously you
wild.
get to jam with like some of the best musicians. You're like, all right, this jamming, this is sick. All right.
Well,
having
I
fun.
mean, it was terrifying for me on every front, but we just did it, and I don't know. It was a really lucky scenario. I was able to even provide like a little bit of a setup for us to do the tour, because if I remember correctly, we did the whole thing in the van that my other band owned, and along with the trailer that my other band owned, and I even had like an accommodation for us to stay out because I happened to be house sitting for a customer of mine that I renovate his house, and then that was his parents' house, and whatever. It's a whole thing. So it was just fucking awesome that it all worked out. It made no sense. And then later on, I remember doing some sort of math with Dave and just thinking like to myself, maybe I'll move to Australia just to spice things up. But I actually think it would inconvenience the band if I lived there. You know?
Mhm.
So
100%.
we just
one more air ticket for whenever we have to tour the States.
yeah,
that makes sense.
fuck
That makes
that.
sense. Makes sense.
And a whole nother US, well, I wouldn't need a work visa, but just all the bullshit that goes along with it. So yeah, we got this little setup going on, and it kind of works perfect. So
That's awesome. That's
So it's
fucking
almost
rad.
yeah.
it's almost better for an internationally touring band to be spread out internationally than to all be together. These
Sometimes
days.
yes, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, and I'm able to do certain things over here, just being from here. That's less of a fuck around when it comes to like, I don't know, just having a W-9 or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So-
I hope so.
So the band has been in drop D forever and will always be in drop D tuning. Is that right?
Is it drop C sharp or is it drop D?
Just drop
G,
D.
bro.
Just drop D. So it's
damn.
like, I kind of, it reminded me recently, like I found a cassette tape, which was like a 4-track recording, like before we had vocals or anything. And there's like 4 songs on it.
Mhm.
And there's like, 3 of the songs were off Isle, but then there was one song that was like just in E standard. I think it was like the first song that I wrote, just in
Damn.
E. And I think we played it live a couple of times, and then we realized, they have to tune it up, and we couldn't be tuning it up anymore, so we just got rid of that song. So then from so it was like in E for a song, and then it was in drop D forever.
Classic.
But the first album's in drop D flat because we figured,
That's what I thought.
let's make it heavier. But that was just a pain in the ass as well. So we just
Mm.
So the first album's dropped in D flat, but everything else is in D.
Okay. Well, Joel and I were both right. We split the difference.
What
That
was
just shows
yeah,
he's
go ahead.
OOG fan to know that was even detuned. But anyway, go on.
No, I was listening to, I haven't listened to in a long time, and I was like taking a shower the other day. I was naked. Listening to Pantera Live 101 Proof, and I haven't listened to that in forever. And just like listening to Pantera again. And I forgot that Dime tuned like, what was it? It was like a little flat of D or something, right? And I
I think
always
I
like,
remember
could have
reading
been-
like a
could have been like
Guitar
the-
World.
It's like the it could have been similar to the like the Van Halen thing. Like they would
that's okay. They
would
did that
just tune
too.
to each other, so they wouldn't actually know what they're tuned to. They'll
Okay.
probably tune up one day, but then they'll just tune the guitars to each other. So you listen to
Yeah, but
there's heaps
but
of
he
those
had a
old school
tech.
albums where they're not quite in tune.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
but
was.
Joe, but wouldn't Dime change guitars live during the set? And didn't he have a tech always? I
Dime.
think he had a weird tuning on purpose. I think I remember reading about it in Guitar World or some nerd shit like that. It was like a quarter step different than what you would normally do.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
To be a
It was,
weirdo.
it wasn't like A4. It wasn't A440. It was like A425 or something. It was like,
what I don't remember the number, but I remember it being like a quarter step, something about concert pitch, which would be 440. So yeah, I don't know exactly, but there's also another thing about them recording.
That sounds like a Blue M&M's thing.
Yeah.
There's another story, I don't know if it's true,
toes.
about Pantera recording Far Beyond Driven slower than it normally was. Like, what would it be? They tuned a certain way and then played the tape back at a different tempo, like it's a pitch corrected.
oh, weird.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Record a little slower and then have the master track pitch it up when you. Yeah, I've had
if you
Metallica
record
did
slower,
that.
you'd have to tune down so that when you
Metallica
speed it
did
up,
that?
the tempo would be correct, right?
Yeah,
Metallica
Master of
did that?
Puppets, the song Master of Puppets. The only song, the title track on that album was recorded like in E flat, and then they run the tape up to E.
So it was something like that.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
It's not that they couldn't play it, but they just wanted it as tight as possible, which means
right.
Like
I've heard of that happening historically, just with like recordings in general. Just like it's like a production thing. They'll listen back to a song, and they're like, this might sit better if it was a bit slower or a bit faster. And just speeding or slowing speeding up the tape or slowing the tape. You're not going to notice the pitch difference, to most listeners, unless you're trying to play the shit. But yeah, it'll just give the song a different feel. But I think that was kind of common with, historically, with a lot of things.
Definitely.
But I brought up the drop D thing just because so many bands like are in the detune wars or whatever, and Psycroptic's just like, nope, we're just in drop D.
Well, that was almost like a Tassie thing. That was like a Hobart thing. Like all the bands locally down here were kind of doing it. Just like not just like metal bands, but like just kind of the indie bands or the rock bands that were kicking around. Everyone was just doing the drop D thing. So just like, I guess that's what you do if you're playing rock or heavy shit.
Yeah.
Then there would see other bands, kind of outside when was going to tour around or play around. It's like, oh shit, you can actually just tune the whole guitar differently.
Right.
Yeah, there was even like speaking of Pantera, there was even a song. I remember like buying a Hal Leonard book. Just being like, shit, I hear someone walking through gravel. I hear when I'm talking, but a Hal Leonard book, and there was there was a song by Pantera that was tuned to G, and I was like, the fuck is G?
Whatever it was on the Great Southern Trendkill for sure.
It was
Sandblasted Skin.
Yep.
That's the Great Southern. No, it's Sandblasted Skin. The fucking final song on the album. The Trend is Dead.
Yeah. The Trend is Dead. Yep.
The one where it's like
yeah. And I literally could not even. I remember like getting my guitar and trying to like tune to that, and I was like, "Is it? So it's got to be higher, right?"
Because it wouldn't go that low and still tune.
Yeah. I think Joe's got some. Let me mute Joe. See what's going on. Yeah, Joe's got some audio issues.
Sounds, yeah.
I wanted to see if it came.
Speaker or mic was dying. It's not me, is it?
No. I muted Joe. But we lost him too.
I already missed his beautiful red beard. His magnificent facial hair.
No, yeah, I'll mute it until we see his face again. But yes, like back in the day though, those kind of like low tunings, and nowadays are so commonplace. And even like there's a couple other bands that used to like tune that low, like back in the. Even Motley Crue, and there's bands that tuned to D back like in the 80s and stuff like that. That was like a common thing. So that was and until you have to learn it, and you're like, whoa, dude, they're fucking already on this wagon. You know?
I remember being having a Floyd Rose for the first time and just hating changing tunings for any reason.
Oh
and just,
God. Yeah.
Yeah, I had an Ibanez from when I guess I was maybe 16 or something like that. And I remember fucking the whole thing up by trying to detune to learn a song and then or something like that. And I was like, yeah, I'm never doing that again. And then if I would buy tab books, I'd be pissed that some of the songs I'd be too lazy to tune the guitar correctly to learn it correctly,
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
yeah, and I remember having that issue with the Great Southern Trendkill. That's why I thought of that straight away. Like that's all really detuned and weird tuned.
I didn't understand what G meant on the E string.
Right,
I was like, how? So my string has to be like completely like touching all the strings.
Yeah.
It's like I had no idea they did stuff like that. I remember thinking of the reason why I brought that up was just like when Joseph brought up tuning and stuff like that. That I was thinking about like certain tunings where you just like run into it and you're like having to figure it out on the fly. Like there's no like YouTube or you just gotta like, all right. So what's going on with this and there's so many things you can do with drop D and.
Personally, I think that it just fits Joe's style so sick. I love that the
Yeah.
fucking band has so many recordings all in the same tuning.
Yeah,
and
so cool.
Also, I thought this was interesting. Joe decided. So when I first joined the band, it was all 4-string everything, all the way up until the self-titled album, which was 2015. So then he told me that I ought to buy a 5-string, and I was like, "Whoa, what are you about to do?"
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what that meant at first.
It's all the same tuning.
Well, it's just Joe was still rocking the 6-string. I thought he was going to add a 7 when he first told me I needed to buy a 5, is what I'm saying, And then I was like, oh, fuck, I'm just going to add one low string lower than, and that's even cooler because now that's technically more interval heavy than Meshuggah. It's like I get multiple octaves lower than Dave plus another third.
Yep.
Than Joe, I meant. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah, 100%.
Super fucking cool. So and we always started doing that on as the Kingdom Drowns. So the last 2 full lengths and the EP or whatever.
Dude, I love your guys' style going because today to me I don't listen to as much death metal, but like I still do every now and then. And today I was like driving home from work and I just threw on a Psycroptic mix of all the eras. I skipped all the old eras because I know those, because I was growing up and that was like I knew every note of that. So I was like anything I didn't recognize that I was like, all right, let me listen to it. And I was like, fuck yeah, cool. Like a different kind of like because there's only to me in my brain, I'm just like there's only so many places you can go with a certain genre to add like a cool intro, add peps, cool like vocals like that are different, add like a different vibe to everything. I was like, fuck, this is fucking sick. I was rushing home to make it to the fucking podcast, and stressed out and texting Joseph and stuff. But at the same time, I was like, this is I like this. Like in my younger age, I was like, oh, dude, they're not doing what they always did. Fuck, But in my older age, I'm just like, I like mixing it up, dude. Like, add some like different like slower parts and add some like more like harmonic vocal parts that are kind of like giving you a vibe besides just the.
Well, I never used to think this, but now I'm of the belief that there's fucking hit songs in death metal, and it's for good reason. Oftentimes,
100%.
It's like if you think of I don't know, if you think of Dying Fetus and your mind first goes it's like, yo, that's because that's a hit song.
Yeah, totally. 100%.
And it's like there's just certain fucking bands that still got it in them to do like a Scourge of Iron that late in their career or something like that, where it's like that's the track, fuck that shit's hot, and
100%.
And I think that's where Joe's writing style is headed towards that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome. No, it kind of makes me, I get a little angry at the bigger bands that are kind of doing like kind of gimmicky stuff. And to me, it's gimmicky because I'm an old man and it's not gimmicky. I'm just saying that because how I feel. That's how I feel. But like, like I respect Lauren Shore, but I'm at the same time like there's so much sicker, cooler stuff out there that like riff wise and stuff. I mean, their breakdowns and their heavy parts are insane, and the vocalist is insane. But I'm saying like for like, to me in my brain, like Psycroptic's My Possession should be that band. But that's not a popular theory. That's not a popular theory.
What I've noticed over time is that, like, well, first of all, it's like it's nothing to do with Lorna Shore. It's just you're wondering why. It's just like, love the guys. I think they're really put out a good product. But it's like,
100%.
if you're gonna make the argument that why would that band blow up, why wouldn't a different band blow up? It's like, well, that's the whole. To me, that's the fun part of it. It's like, what do people like about this?
Yeah.
What the fuck has got them coming back for more, and how it becomes a thing. It's like, how certain bands are going to do this type of shit. Raven's still on the road, you know? And it's like, that's really dope that Raven's still on the road. And when you see these fucking big lineups that are like, you know, Euro Festival season, and it's like at the same festival, you got Judas Priest, and you've also got like your, you know, Fit for Autopsies or whatever you got. And I don't know. I say good for anyone who fucking breaks
100%
through with the shit. It's just that if you're trying to figure out the answer to that, it's just a matter of I hate to say this. I think it's a matter of branding.
Yeah.
It's the perfect storm of, because and I don't even like to think of it in this terms, because it's music and it's art and it's what our lives are made out of, because you live for the fucking riff of it. But in real life terms, sometimes it's like, oh shit, you got to sell yourself to these kids. And it's like, what is going to explode, and what catches their attention, and where do their eyes and ears go? Because everyone has fucking problems paying attention, you know?
Yeah.
And then
100%.
a certain band just catches fire, and you're like, oh my God, that? And it could be about anything. And it's like, I find out about K-pop artists all the time because of doing merchandise gigs. And you think to yourself, what the fuck is it about K-pop? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That,
I mean, it comes from a place of just, you know, like, I don't know. It's the old man stuff in me. Like, you know, like we went through the whole, you know, it's like, who gives a shit, by the way? So anyone listening that's younger, that's, you know, got to extreme music in a different fashion, that's fucking awesome. But to me, it's kind of like, it's me going like, you know, there's a Guthrie Govan shredding now, and it's me going like, well, Jimi Hendrix shreds him, dude. Like, you know, it's like, it's kind of like there's not really, it's a perspective and there's a nostalgia behind it. I don't think there's a real way to explain it, but I mean, we're seeing patterns of it. We're now, you know, like Led Zeppelin, your parents go about Led Zeppelin's the sickest thing that's ever lived, and you're like, all right, so, well, you know, it's like a big circle of like, you know, getting older.
Exactly. And I think that the sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just waving at the people who are back. That's all.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Welcome back, boys.
What up?
No, but I think that's exactly true. I think it's very much to do with, maybe there might be science that backs this. I'm not exactly sure, but like there's a certain period of your life where that's when the shit hits you the hardest. It's like when maybe you're from ages 11 to 17 or whatever, when you're getting into these bands, nothing, you know, makes the hair on your arm stand up like that. It just goes through your soul. And then you've seen it all by then, because your frontal lobe isn't even fully developed or whatever. But then by the time new bands come along, you're like, yeah, but nobody did it as good as that first high, you know? You're like,
yeah, so it makes you feel a certain way, and it's like you can never replace that with anything.
I remember being in a band with a kid who grew up on like Atreyu riffs, and I was like, what? And because riffs like that just showed up like yesterday. Like, you can't learn how to play guitar based off of Atreyu when like it's 2006 and you're learning riffs that came out in 2003. It's bullshit. And I don't know why I thought that. But I think it was because I was so floored by the shit that I became obsessed with at that certain time of your life when it was just pure magic, you know?
Yeah. It's just all nostalgia. And I think that there's been a study done on that too, of like when people a certain age, when they hear music, it's like, that's the shit. And whatever comes after won't be the shit, you know? But I mean, also too, though, to me though, I'll like nowadays something like, I'll be like completely honest about something. I'll be like, that's fucking amazing. That's really good. You know, like, goddamn, that's like a voice of our generation, or a good guitar player of our generation. You know, like, I won't be stuck in like the old times. I mean, I think, but I'm still doing it. You know, like I'm still going like, why isn't Psycroptic humongous, and why is these bands that but not saying that they put a lot of work into their craft. I'm not saying they did not do that. They put a lot of work into it.
It's just I think it's a really fucking matrix of
jealousy. Is it jealousy? I think it might be jealousy.
No, it's just like I remember a really close friend of mine said something to me that I'll never forget, and we were both just drinking together and listening to Deicide, and he goes like this: "I don't understand why more people don't think it's sick."
yeah. That's 100% what I'm talking about. That's 1,000% what I'm talking about.
And I'm like, it's just that. It's just like, yo, this shit speaks to my soul so properly that like I can't believe you motherfuckers don't hear what I'm hearing, right?
It's like 100%.
So 100%. Yeah, but I remember the guitar player dude that I was just bringing up, the Atreyu dude. I remember him. You're trying to show him Slayer, but he grew up on a diet of like Black Dahlia Murder, and it just didn't go. And that's when I first realized that it's like, oh, I get it. If you learn the shit in a certain order, you can't go the other way around and impress them.
Yeah. And your trail to get to wherever you're at now, and what makes you stoked. I mean, at that time, especially being younger, like where you went, the path, and where you got there, like is so sick. Everything's so sick that like once you get to the next level up, and then someone's like, nah, that band kind of sucks. So you're like, what? Then you're like, what? You get like kind of pissed off, and then like it's just kind of like a
how dare you?
Yeah, exactly. That's how it is. It's really weird.
Like that.
And that's what I'm saying. We all have that in us.
Yeah. We all have bands. Like I guarantee you that Joe and Haley thinks that Foreigner is sicker than anything that could possibly happen.
That's true.
Yeah, it's true. It's how you like get brought up in metal. It's like you can't just like, and that's why like it's really tough when people don't understand kind of the more extreme stuff, and you have to be like, well, there's a process you have to go through where you have to like start here and like you have to end here. You can't just like jump to this. You can't and then people just, a band comes out and they just like use all the elements of those things, and then they get humongous off of it, and you're just like,
dude,
motherfucker, dude.
It's Chat GPT for band fucking riffs.
I know, dude. It's crazy.
It's and I get it. It's like that's bullshit. It's like, not to name any names or whatever, but like there's bands where I see like, okay, well, if you took away the fucking this one, you wouldn't have that one, but the real thing is still on the road, and the other one's smoking it in terms of like actual. Because again, like fuck the numbers, but like, what's the show like? Is the show a good experience, or are you in the basement of the rave in Milwaukee, counting fucking 90 people when there's really 50? It's like, that's what it's all about. It's like, was the show rad? Because the show is so much better when everyone's there raging.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is it like it's some like weird form of I want to say jealousy, but it's like a weird form of like you've gone through all these steps to get to this music. The people that haven't gone through that much to get to the popular music are playing the main room with like 5,000 people or whatever, and you've gone through all these hoops to be like, yeah, this band, find this band. Oh my god, they're playing here, and you get to find out they're playing in your town, and then before you know it, the fucking band that they heard on the radio for the first time is now 5,000 people, and you guys are 78 people. It's kind of like, I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
I think it's important that, first of all, it's kind of cool if you think about it. It's like you can make the argument that it's like, oh, whatever, this is unfair. But
what if the very end of, like, let's say if we're old and we're like over it, what if like Psycroptic, all these like bands are number one on the charts? You're like, god damn it, I fucking was there. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where a band that you followed forever that no one cared about, or not no one cared about, but like wasn't like top of the charts, wasn't selling tons of tickets. You were into it for forever, and then all of a sudden they're number one, and you're like, god damn it, this. Then you want to be like, this stuff sucks now. like I don't know. It's like a psychological thing. I'm talking about.
Become any sort of bitter about any situation of the sort. I like to think of it in terms of like, I don't know. I feel like I stopped counting other people's shit a long time ago, and it's just like as long as we can make I think of it in terms of lifestyle, to be honest. Like, if we can make this the thing that we do, and like to the point where, I mean, we all have to roll our sleeves up and get all of our stuff done during the workday on tour just to put the show on. But like, we still go out to lunch with our boys, and we still have a blast, and we laugh a lot and we fuck around and hang out, and I'm in it for let's see how far we can take this, and it's provided a lot of fruit for our labors. I think why some bands hit it so big so hard and others don't is one of those things that it adds to the gamble of it all for me, and that's kind of like the razor's edge, you know.
100%.
It's one of the only things that's left in rock and roll is the risk that nobody gives a fuck about your shitty band because nobody's busy throwing hotel or fucking TVs out of windows anymore. Your excitement is like, can we make this work or are we gonna lose our ass? You know?
100%. 100%. Joseph's got a question. I'm about to piss my pants on the ground. I might pee on the ground right now.
I don't have a question. Joel just
he teed you up.
Yeah. He was like, I need you back on the pod. I'm gonna piss my pants.
Yeah.
That's sorry. Joel. Yeah. No, I was just taking a little breather after you get home, you hop on, and then you're like, oh, other stuff. Anyway, I assumed you had it held down, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes you just gotta piss.
That's true.
Well, Joseph, take it over.
Go ahead.
What do you got to ask these dudes, dude?
Oh man, I don't know. You guys have an album coming out?
I sure do.
Cool.
Nice.
Have you talked about it yet?
Go.
On this podcast, did you guys talk about the
no, we talked about the Metal Blade signing. We didn't talk about the record itself so much.
Sweet.
Yeah, if I had to bet, I'd say it'd be like a standard Psycroptic style, 9 songs. But we don't have a release date yet because it's just slightly too far out, you know?
Yeah.
So we're thinking that if we can submit final masters to them within the next, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, and we'll be looking at sometime next year, early before, I don't know, April, May, June, something like that. I would hope.
Nice.
So it's recorded, just not final mastered.
I think there's some recording to still be done.
Oh, okay.
I think it's pretty close. I think what we're aiming for is like just getting everything on like our end just finished, probably about October or something. Yes, getting it submitted around then. But yeah, still got to. I think most of it's in the bag, but yeah, just got to a little bit more recording.
Right.
To sort of do, and I don't know.
It'd be a really cool move for you guys now, like at this age and this stage in the game. Just be like, because with all the new tech bands coming and there's all the digital stuff going, just go back to reel and just be like, just drop the next album, just go back to old school analog. I mean, it probably will not do as well as I'm saying, but
well, that's a funny thing.
From my perspective, it'd be a nightmare.
Oh my god!
I know it's an absolute nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare.
Well, that's the funny thing about the future.
We could just track it. We could track it like as we usually would, and then just at the very end, we'll just run it through tape and just say, "Yeah."
Is there a way to
run it through tape? Is
there a way to combine the both though? Like where you record to a DAW and then it goes to analog. Who was talking about that? Someone was explaining that like a few weeks back.
We could do that move just to be dickheads, like really lean into it, like mastered in analog,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I'm a back end with my mix bus. So I've basically got, I've essentially got this SSL, which is it's basically running like a tape machine just without the tape. So it kind of does the same thing. So
for sure.
Yeah.
What were you guys going for with this album?
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
It's rock and roll.
Yeah.
I think it's rock and roll.
That's awesome. That's cool. I mean, do you guys go into another an album cycle and be like because obviously from us, I'm thinking about it from like a person that plays guitar and whatever, and like looks at you guys like fucking phenoms. Like, to a new album like cycle, is there like a push to go to a different style, or like I mean, not a different style, but like having more like intros, or like have it build up to something and come down to something?
I think you can always. I think there's always like a through line. You can always sort of like the newer stuff that on the new album could be comparable to the stuff off Divine.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff off that album could be compared to the stuff before it. But if you kind of went back like maybe 4 or 5 albums, it'd sound like there's a huge shift. But like I think like you can see just gradual sort of changes. But I think that's all kind of not going into like a new album or writing new material with like an intention. We just kind of we're just writing stuff that we think sounds cool, and it's going to be reminiscent of the one before it because that was the stuff that we wrote closest to what we're writing now.
Makes sense.
But I guess I don't know. I think kind of naturally, I guess like kind of what I mentioned before. I think like structurally, I think because people have kind of asked like similar sort of things where asking about the direction of stuff, but I always find it interesting how I find like the newer stuff will be like kind of technically like the riffs would be kind of the hardest shit for me to play, but there's just like less of them per song. So it'd be like the beat. I think each song would have like less sections in them, but to me they're always kind of the latest song that I've written is always the hardest one for me to play, even though I guess to a listener probably in a lot of ways it probably sounds similar, like simpler, but it's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Is that how you kind of like segment it, like the riffs in your brain, like as far as like like playing some like stuff in between things, and you're like, I have this riff that's coming up that sucks. It's so hard, and like you're like kind of it's like do you kind of segment the like the hard part, like the the Joe Haley kind of like runs from the kind of like chordal stuff?
I think just when I'm sort of writing stuff now, I'm not trying to force the issue. Like I think if I listen back to older stuff, I can hear that I'm just trying to jam in. I might have come up with a cool riff or whatever, and I'm just like, well, I've written this cool riff, so I've got to jam it in this song somewhere. And to me, I can kind of hear that. And now it's like if I'm writing a song, I'll be like, I got this sick riff, but if it doesn't fit with the vibe or the the other sections in a song or whatever, I don't try to force it. I'm not like if it doesn't fit, I just don't worry about it. So
just write a different, unbelievably sick riff. Easy.
What a terrible talent, dude. He's like, oh, dude, let me just write the other riff of a lifetime for any other human being.
That's all right. I got another one.
You do a lot of there's a lot of hybrid picking, right? There's got to be. I'm listening to it. There's a lot of like are you using your fingers too, right? There's got to be like.
I think there has been. I don't like because I get a lot of people asking about my hybrid picking stuff, but then every time I try to think about it in Psycroptic songs, I can never think of where it would be. But I think, I think there is. There'd be a few examples here and there. Like I know in the Observant, like a song from like what 2008 or something. Like that's the only one I can think of that I'm playing.
It might have been
I consciously can think of that. Okay, that's hybrid picking there. But
I had a long drive home today.
Very intro riff, octave bit.
Nah, there's a bit in the middle of it, kind of jumping around, being silly.
Okay, another one.
Yeah, please keep recording yourself playing guitar though. By the way, I love like just watching because especially a lot of the older stuff. We didn't know what you were doing. Like we were like, I mean, me and Carrie, my best friend Carrie, would sit there at like trying to figure out exactly what you were doing, and we were like on Septuagint, we were like, and we all had like different versions of how we like heard it, and we all like literally this is like what we would do as kids. We'd come home and try to jam. I forget the song name. It goes sorry, my scat is not very good, but it's
I'm just terrible with song names. I can't think of song names.
I don't know the song name either. That's literally the riff. I'm thinking of like we would come home.
It's not Skin Coffin.
I think it was Skin Coffin. It sounds familiar. When you, say that because we were just
something that I find interesting with a lot of things, like because I'll see people play covers of it, and they're playing, I'll be playing it like bang on, like exactly the same notes, exactly what I've played, and like it took me ages to kind of realize it's like, well, they're playing everything, they're playing it sick, probably better than I could, but then it's like something wasn't quite sounding right, and then I realized at a point that I think just people accent stuff differently to me.
Yep.
So I think a lot of it would, like, maybe, with some of the weirder sort of riffs that might sound a bit unique, it's probably just in like where the accents fall. They're probably strange.
Yeah,
right.
100%. That's what we all had problems with. We all thought we were hitting the right notes. We all thought that we were doing it correctly. We were like judging each other, like, I think that note's like this note. We would like sit there for hours, like
it'll just be where the accents are. And I think like if there is like hybrid picking here and there, that's definitely going to make things.
Were you doing hybrid picking on that? Is that why it was so hard for us? You were like, maybe I was doing her. I don't know. I was just maybe.
The only reason that I can't think of specifically like hybrid picking stuff off the top of my head, because people talk to me about it all the time. So there's obviously a lot in there, but I just don't think we play many songs where it's required.
Yeah,
just be like some bits here and there these days. But
do you possibly do it where you
there
don't?
Definitely would have been some stuff that here and there, just because.
Do you possibly do it where you don't even know you're doing it because it's just like a easy way to grab a note? Like, is it?
Probably. Like I do it a lot of the time, just in other playing. Like when I'm just at home, I'm probably picking all the time.
Yeah.
But just in like riffs and stuff, I can never think of it off the top of my head. But I would have done it here and there for sure. I'm pretty lazy, so it's just easy to jump around, I think.
Have you guys noticed Erlen Casperlin uploading a bunch of old Psycroptic songs on bass covers recently?
I
got sent one.
Yeah, I literally got sent one yesterday from from a friend. Yeah. It's pretty cool. So it's all stuff.
Fucking wild, dude.
I know he's playing like along with the guitar, right?
I was just gonna say that it follows the guitar a lot more than the original recording does in some places. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking Erlen, dude. Touring with that guy. Then I mean, not even like he was with Vile when we first toured with them, and just like he was like stuck in the back of a van with Vile. Like literally, his sleeping spot was between two other men, like on tour. And like I was like, "Who's this guy?" And he came out and just started playing bass like that, and I was like, what I play bass too. Not like this guy. This guy is literally like a maniac. He would just be like all every technique that I wanted to do, he just murdered, and it was easy. It was one of those guys. But anyways, like him doing those covers of your guys' songs, it's like fucking. I love to see his take on things, because he's not like he hears guitar very well, so he like we'll just play along to the guitar on a lot of the Igor stuff. I love to see his take on that. Obviously the Spawn stuff, and just like he just seems like he's like, oh yeah, I know all the notes. I'm just like play.
Honestly, even if you know all the notes,
him to teach me something.
Right. Even if you know all the notes, it's amazing he could get the stretches so fucking perfect. Because a lot of that shit's only possible to stretch on guitar, and this dude just nails it. Yeah,
it pisses me off.
Fingers.
It's fucking bizarre.
He's the coolest guy. He's fucking awesome dude. Like I love that guy. Just like how he could be like a superstar. I feel like he's just very quiet. Doesn't want to like cause a stir with how his talent is like above everyone else's. And I don't know.
Crazy.
It's like the stuff that I want. My dad's a bass player. I show my dad his stuff. He's like, that's not like he thinks it's AI. He's like, cool. He's like, that's insane. That's not a thing that humans do. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yo, so does he still play in a band?
No, he just kind of like jams for fun. He works. He owns businesses, a couple businesses, and just like
he's got like for not live, but he's playing on the Igor records.
I was talking about my dad. I was talking about my dad.
Oh, your dad.
No, Erlen though. Erlen's way sicker than my database. Just like
my bad.
No. But no, yeah. Sorry. Were you asking for my dad or Erland? My dad, right?
Your dad plays for Igor.
My dad plays in Igor. He's like really good, like at slapping.
That's what I got from this.
Yeah. I mean, me and Joseph saw Igor live and that was one of the most ridiculous shows I've ever seen. It doesn't make any sense to me. How
are they good?
I just don't understand. Like, it's not like musically it might not like tickle your whatever, but like they're just so tight in their weirdness, and they're just so cohesive in awkwardness and weirdness that I just don't know how they do it. I just don't understand. It's like it's seeing a movie and don't understand not understanding how they got to the concept. You're like,
right. Ulcerate is like that for me.
Yeah, it's one of those bands. Exactly. Like, you're like,
is it? Okay, I got you.
Like, how do you think of this? Like,
Gorguts and Ulcerate have the same effect on me.
Mm-hmm.
Is that?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
You just don't know how humans come up with this. It's not like a listening pleasure. I wouldn't say that like a lot of the Igor stuff is like pleasureful to listen to, but it's just like, how does a human brain create this?
Yeah.
I don't.
Totally.
How do you get there? I don't understand.
Defeated sanity probably as well.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Cuckoo birds, man. It's pretty cool.
It's bananas. Everyone got quiet.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I might have to get going pretty soon.
Yeah, let's wrap this up.
I got
we can do that
tomorrow, so yeah.
Dude, getting to pick your guys' mind was fucking awesome. Especially hearing both sides of like you coming to the band, Todd, and hearing Joe. It's funny, I actually Casey. I texted Casey, who is I didn't recognize your face from the angle that it was at, Joe. So I've toured with you for like months. And I was like, I texted Casey. I was like, who's Jiren? I texted him while right before we started, and he's all Joe, LOL. And I'm like, oh shit, Joe Haley, holy fuck. I had no idea that it was like is this the new like singer or something? What's going on? I had no idea.
Yeah, when I typed it in, I realized obviously this guy's probably not gonna know who the fuck Jiren is.
It's like literally sick. One of my favorite guitar players. I'm like, who's Jiren, dude? What's this guy doing?
That's just
he writes all the riffs.
I'm just known as Jiren amongst the other guys in the band.
That's
and have been for quite a few years.
Just that
because of a misspelling on a coffee cup.
Oh, gotcha.
No, it was at an A&W in Canada. It was at like a burger joint late night.
Jiren.
It was like this ghetto chick that took his order, and she didn't understand Joe with his accent. And she was like,
she said, "What's your name?" And I said, "Joe." She said,
"Jiren."
And I said, "No, Joe." She went, "Jiren."
Jiren.
Got it.
So that was like 2017. We started calling him that back then. It's still going.
Jiren. I literally, you had an angle in your face. I was like, Jiren. Okay, I was like, I literally went to like Metal Encyclopedia Archives and was like, do they have a new singer? Is Pep not in the band anymore? What's going on? I literally went through the whole thing and then texted Casey. Was like, who's Jiren, dude? And like, I saw you had an angle. I'm like, that's fucking Joe Haley.
I love it. I remember one time we were arguing about how to spell it, and he was like, "Dude, throw my name."
So it's open to interpretation, whatever you want, dude.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, dude. Well, fucking thank you guys for both coming on, and shout out to
dude,
Pep.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, Dave, Dive for coming on. That was fucking awesome. You guys have been one of our favorite bands for over like 20 years, dude, and it's so cool to have you break down how your guitar playing style, and Todd, how you got jam with the band and stuff like that, and fucking write with this fucking ridiculous. I don't understand this mutant band at all. They're insane. They're
no doubt.
They're freaks of nature, and hopefully they explode. I'm drunk now, but hopefully they explode because no, seriously, like it's literally the band that I'm like, I don't understand why they're not like headlining everything they come. I don't know. It's the old man factor. Like, you guys don't know what's really going on here.
Fuck yeah.
It's like, yeah. But if you come near the Bay Area, let's fucking hang out and
we'll see you later this year, brother. No question.
You can't announce it, but when you do, let me know.
No doubt. Thanks for having us, dudes.
Cheers, guys.
I don't know.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks for coming on.
Rock on.
No doubt. Have a good one.